Well, hello again, guys. Just sent an invite to Rusty, Mr. Rusty Kings. Let's try and do a paranormal discussion without the trolls coming on, shall we?
Hello, hello.
Hello, Rusty.
You can hear me.
Hello.
Okay. I haven't done this in so long. I was like, it took me a while to remember how to set everything.
How's it going, bro?
Man? Oh, yeah, we're live. Hey, what's up? Hello.
Hello, let it catch up, man. Hello, to catch up.
Hey, yeah, since I'm not on camera, maybe you should just focus the camera on you so we don't bounce back and forth. Because that's one thing I noticed along this crazy road of live stream hangouts and paranormal research is when it switches camera, the audio can get funky. But if it stays on one camera, like you're on you, for instance. So, yeah. So, yeah, man, there's so much to talk about. It's been so long.
I don't really want to bring up the topic, but Poop's going to ask, why did you step away from the paranormal?
Honestly, this stuff. I just saw enough of it, and it wasn't, that was just kind of a caveat for lack of a better term, because it was really, I answered enough of my own personal questions through the experiment. Am I coming in too loud? I've done this in so long. I want to make sure I'm not like blasting everyone. Okay, cool. Yeah. It all started with my grandpa passing away, had a weird experience, and I just wanted to investigate and see if I can get some answers similar to what I saw on television. And, lo and behold, I received identical style captures, possible evidence of this unseen territory around us. And I got to the point, enough experimentation that, I said, okay, there's something there, but I haven't had the got my britches yet. So I can't say it's a ghost, but it's something. Something is around us that's unseen. There's many cultures that have different beliefs and thoughts of what this is. And I don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. It's stuff that we're yet to figure out. I think we will. It's just a matter of time. And so, yeah, long story short, I kind of came to a point where it was kind of not getting boring, but I kind of felt like I was just kind of pandering to everybody, my subscribers and stuff. And it just kind of felt more not genuine. And so I just got to the point where I'm cool. And I have an old dusty video game capture device, and I came up with some crazy ideas and ran with it. And yeah, I became hooked on that stuff. So I still have it all. I still have all my 200 plus paranormal videos. They're just unlisted, and you can actually check them out through the Google Plus, subpage, just called Paranormal Research. They're all still there. People still check them out and stuff. It's just they're not as easy to find. They're just archived.
Have you still got your equipment?
Yeah, I still got everything, man. I'm keeping it all. It's not that I'm not interested. It's just I came to a point, and in my 2 years of paranormal research doing this, there was one point where I did it at least a month or close to a month straight every day doing this. And so in doing this in a year or two, I compressed an average person's research of maybe 5 to 10 years of research into a year or two. And so I was able to, my style, figure stuff out just a little faster for myself. And yeah, I still have everything. It's there for when I want to. And yeah, I still mess around with stuff from time to time, but just not as much. And I can only imagine the Ghostbox apps are probably like triple the size. Because when you and me kind of started, like everyone really in general, when we kind of started doing this, there was only a handful of, maybe 1 or 2 actually Ghostbox apps. There was 1 or 2 for PC maybe, and 2 or 3 for now there's dozens and dozens. And yeah, you still got all your same equipment too, huh? You just kind of built onto it, I would imagine.
Well, I actually was donated the money to buy one of these cameras, the 4G cameras, thanks to one of my friends.
Yeah, I saw you post on that. Yeah,
the person who donated this isn't like a close friend. It's just like one of my viewers who said that they've been watching my channel, they love my channel, and they just felt that they wanted to support my channel. So I was just talking about a camera one day, saying I'd love to get one of these, but I couldn't afford it. And I got a message saying, "Well, how much is that camera, Steve?" And I said, "Well, you're talking, nearly 100 quid, because it's new. It's going to be like you got your warranty and everything like that. You can get them cheaper, but it's like on eBay, as new refurbished, some second hand with no warranty whatsoever. I said like I would want to go like, you know, getting a new one which has got warranty. So if it does screw up, then I can send it to EE, and as long as I've got the receipt, you know, I can prove it. And she goes, well, I want to buy you it. I thought, no, you're joking. She goes, no, see, I want to get you it. So I got that camera. It comes with a little watch, but the watch is so crappy on it, you know, during the daytime. But at night, you know, if you're in, you know, a shady area, or, you know, you've got a bit of overcast, then the watch will work on it okay. I can't even remember what I'm with the watch now. It's around here somewhere, but it does come with a watch, and
that is cool. Yeah, my GoPro doesn't have a clock on it. That's awesome.
No, it comes with a watch, and you pair it with your watch, and you can actually turn you can actually press the record on your watch instead of like pressing it on here. You can do it on here, but let's say this is the watch here. This ain't the one, but I have got the watch for it somewhere, and I've just gone misplaced it somewhere.
That is very sweet.
What happens? You just like go into your watch and you just press a button, and it make that record straight away. And I was doing walk bys, but the watch was so crappy, you know, I couldn't really see if the video was recording or not. And some of the times when I think it's recording, I hit the button to stop it recording, because I didn't want people seeing me coming back to, like, you know, get the camera again. So that's why I was trying to do the walk bys, and then stopping the video and coming back in, like retrieving the camera without them seeing me coming back and retrieving the camera. You see what I mean? And then like that way, it'll be kind of a little bit more decent, more video kind of thing. But on occasions, that because it's so bright, I couldn't see the damn camera was recording, and I couldn't tell if it's, you know, by pushing the button if it's still recording, if it stopped recording. But you can actually match it up to your mobile phone, and I found it is a lot easier to do it through mobile. Now, I just recently upgraded and done my contract phone, and I was saying, like, you know, the watch is okay when you can see it, but I can use it on my mobile, but I don't really want to take my mobile out because it's brand new contract. It's not insured at the moment. If I go and drop it, then I'm screwed. I said, if I can get another mobile phone, then that'd be great. No, I've got an old one, but it doesn't accept the software. I said, like, you know, if I had the money, I'd get one of these. 3 people donated the other day, helped me to get a new phone. So I can actually use this with this. And, like, you know, that's a new piece of gear I've got. I went out yesterday and bloody battery was flat on that thing, so I had to use my old head cam, which I've been using recently. One of those, like, little action cam things what you use on. It's a bit like, you know, the other things, you know.
Those are so cool.
But yeah, that's a really nice, you know, the video on there is really good. The audio, which I saw on some people's channels, were really crap, and I thought, I bet mine's going to be crap. But when I got at home and put it on my computer, the audio was crisp. You know, it's really nice and clear. So, you know, thanks to the people who helped me to get that, especially one lady, Bev, who is a new subscriber, a new viewer to my channel. She's just wanting to help out. So, yeah,
I dig it. Yeah, heck yeah, man. No, that's way cool. Yeah, technology just keeps getting, you know, keeps progressing. So this stuff keeps getting cheaper, I guess, for lack of a better term, and yeah, more affordable and better. So that's just the curve that technology goes on.
EE bought this out in 2015, I think it was, and at the time, that, you know, this camera was well over £250. You now get it on eBay between 70 and 100. Well, I have seen people still asking £150 for them, brand new still, you know, in the box. I didn't pay £100 for the camera itself, but, you know, I had to buy the memory card. I had to buy the SIM card because I had 3 contracts. I had like the SIM card on my mobile, the SIM card on the tablet, and then, you know, I thought, well, I don't want to buy you know, one of those pay-as-you-go SIM cards. I'll get a contract one on this one, and, like, you know, I'll get like 5 gig of data for £6 on here, and I can share the data between, like, if my mobile phone starts running out of data, I can actually take some of the data off here and put it on to my phone. It's a new thing that EE's doing at the moment. So I've got a SIM card for this one, and then I bought a new memory card, 64 gig memory card, and 8 one of the cheap ones. So it nearly worked out about, you know, £100. And then, like, I've got the phone. which cost me £42 actually. And the phone, this one here, it's a Doogie. It's a Chinese knockoff phone.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Okay, so yeah, it's a Chinese knockoff. All right, yeah, I didn't check out the video, but I saw the post that you made on it.
Yeah, it's £42. It's got 16 gig internal, octa-core processor, 5 megapixel front and back. 42 quid. It's a really good phone actually.
Man, that Nokia is still one of my favorite throughout my own personal experience of comparison. Just there's just something. Yeah, it's something raw about it. It's really an interesting device. I still have mine. Yeah, it probably needs a charge. Mine does. Yep, there it is. I like it. I haven't used any other feature except the microphone on it.
Yeah, I don't use it for anything else apart from the microphone. Yeah. The original one I do use, I think I've misplaced again. I've been misplacing a lot of stuff lately. I've lost my DC box, which I was using the other night. That's disappeared.
Yeah, I still have mine.
The problem with technology now is that, you go out and spend something. Like, as I was just saying a while ago, you can go out and buy a camera, which might cost you £1,000, and it could be full spectrum. A year later, down the road, they're going to bring out something a lot more kind of like spectacular. It's going to give you better full spectrum. You might even be able to record on it as well, do motion videos on it. And the one that you bought a year ago, you might be lucky to get 200 quid for.
Yep.
The new one is going to be like, the new with, the new features on it would probably be double, of what you paid a year ago. It could be £2,000, £3,000, If you want to buy it, you can afford to buy it, and you're thinking, well, the one I bought a year ago at £1,000, you don't want it no more. What are you going to do with it? You're going to sell it. You probably might get a fraction of what it's worth, probably about 200 quid. And that's why,
Yeah, well, dude, that it's inevitable with technology. It just keeps increasing and increasing, and so if you like, it's through. I read this one interesting theory from, I think he's like a Swedish theoretical physicist or something. I wrote an interesting paper. I didn't read the paper. I just read articles and saw clips and stuff about it. But yeah, if you keep the trajectory of technology and computers going, it's inevitable that we're going to create a simulated universe that is exactly like ours, that we cannot tell the difference from, and it's inevitable that we're going to create infinite versions of these. So basically to sum up his whole thing is that if you look at the way technology keeps progressing, unless we get wiped out by a meteor or we kill each other off, we will eventually create a virtual reality so realistic that it'll be just like our reality. And so he thinks that it's more likely we are actually in one of these infinite virtual realities that will happen in his mind than being in just the one single one, because that is statistically a bet. If you statistically look at it like that, there's better odds that we actually are in a virtual reality and not in the single.
You've been watching the movie.
This is real science stuff. It's all theoretical.
And you've been watching the movie that was here on UK TV the other day, Jet Li, the one where he's in that virtual.
Oh, I've seen. I didn't watch it recently. I saw that one like 10 years ago, but it left such an impact on me. I remember a lot of it. Yes, dude, it's more likely. I mean, it's the more and more scientists are looking at it, it's more likely this stuff is actually how the universe is, and that would explain the paranormal world so easy. It wraps like a nice little bow on it. If you look at it like we're like a bunch of sheets, bed sheets blowing in the wind in the outside of your backyard, just like infinite of all next to each other, just going in lines and lines and lines. And every once in a while through the wind turbulence, these sheets touch. And that's what these weird paranormal events might be, is like these crossovers of dimensions or something. Who knows? That's just one theory. See, that's the thing about science, is like scientists themselves, not the good ones, will preface their discussions with this theoretical ideas, like this is theoretical, remember it's theoretical, but that's not everybody. And most of the documentaries just edit that stuff out because it's not saucy and it doesn't sell. So yeah, everything is a theory. Everything is still a theory. We don't know why anything exists. That goes in. I wrote down, I actually listened to a little bit of that stream I missed the other night, and I wrote down some ideas that I listened to you guys, and you like right off the bat was a really interesting one is how planets are formed. And your idea, you basically stated what scientists, quote unquote scientists, the most favorite theory is how a planet was formed is, yeah, dust-like particles, maybe not that small, but they call them planetismals. They're basically like pebbles, and our solar system was just flooded with this, and gravity and dark matter and all this crazy stuff that we still can't explain. These are just all theories and ideas that at this point in our evolution, this is the best we can explain these things, at least. But the problem is, yes, there is people that take advantage of this, and yes, there are lies, and yes, there is shady stuff going on, but there is good stuff going on. There is good people out there. I know it doesn't seem like it, but there is. And yes, planetismals. Yeah. So yeah, it's just all small stuff. This is the most popular theory is, so yeah, the sun, it creates the gravity well around us. And as it fluctuates, there's different forms of gravity. We still don't know what this all is throughout like if you look at the solar system as a dinner plate with the sun in the middle and imagine just pebbles all strewn, like billions and trillions and infinite pebbles strewn out. Gravity coalesced all these things over time as it rotated into these shapes. And yeah, the discussion about the moon, the scientists, the fancy pantses with their pocket protectors and stuff, their number one theory about the moon too, it's the most, they're not the answers. You got to remember this. These aren't, nobody knows the answers. These are all just the best ideas, the best guesstimates.
The thing is, like, when I said, like, I believe that, you know, some of these planets could have been, like, formed by dust particles, I did actually mean to say, like, from, I suppose, like, rock formations from, like,
well, yeah, no, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, it doesn't matter if you call it dust or not. We weren't there. We can't explain it. It probably was, at one point, very small dust-like particles that were like, put together.
Planets, right? It's probably from planets that exploded. And like, you know,
yeah, no, it's all the elemental table. You know, the elemental table you see at school with like mercury and copper and iron, and they have the different like Fe and Au for gold and stuff. You know, that is the makings of the universe, and that's the materials for that were all in small particle, basically particle, like dust particle, or if not smaller form in the galaxy, and still is, in the universe, I should say, and still is. And yeah, gravity, whatever it is, and dark matter and dark. You see, that's the thing people forget about is all the darkness in space. That is something that they still don't have a very good idea of what that is. It is something because through their own math, and their math could be wrong, but through their own math, the speed at which galaxies rotate is so fast that they should have spun out and just gone into the cosmos. But something is working counter with gravity, what they call gravity, to push as well as pull. So something is like on the blackness. That's what they think the blackness of space is. It's not this nothing. It's not this vacuum. It's this force. It's this something, an energy, an untouchable matter. Like we just don't know. And that's, yeah, so that's what it is. It's all those elements come together and they make these little dust parts that turn into bigger parts, that turn into bigger parts and clump together. And yeah, the moon, they think, was at one point there was two smaller planet sizes near Earth and one collided. And yeah, the chunks of it somehow stuck around our orbit and made it. So, and if it wasn't for the moon, at least in scientists' best guesstimation, if it wasn't for the moon, life as we know it wouldn't exist. The moon is basically like the key factor in how we evolved and life in general evolved to the point it's at now. And it still has a major influence.
They reckon like they've actually found water on the moon, yeah. But before,
oh yeah, no, that's confirmed. It's under the surface. It's like, I don't know if it's frozen or.
They reckon though that the moon was a planet, you know, a fireball planet like Earth trillions of years ago, until some kind of like confessity, I can't even pronounce it, confessity or something, where what happened on the moon to make it like as a dead planet. And you know, like the moon was similar to like Earth, but something happened to the moon and it died, and like now it's classed as moon.
Exactly.
They state that they found like, you know, proof that there's water. Now, and it kind of like really kind of like coincidental to me and a few other people who we're having a conversation with, that, you know, we're getting a lot of heat waves over here. Yeah, that could be like, you know, probably why a lot of water's disappearing. But it's kind of weird that we're losing a lot of water, and suddenly, like, the moon suddenly, if they found water on the moon.
Yeah.
I even said that not long ago that somewhere in California, a whole beach of sand disappeared overnight. So
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
weird
know
stuff
what's
all
going on.
over. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. Is the fucking aliens coming down from Mars and like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities.
kind of like holiday resort up there or something. You know?
Yeah.
Mars and have a holiday resort up here. We got your water, we got your sand. You know, but yeah, it's kind of weird that, you know, they suddenly find water on the moon, and like, you know, our planet's kind of like being sucked up with water. You know, that water's disappearing.
Well, no, I mean, there's so much water in our planet. It is just it's hard to comprehend. I mean, just Antarctica, the North Pole alone, holds so much water that's trapped there. I mean, you got to remember that's something we get really egotistical in schools and everything. Like, we know everything, but we've only been keeping track, quote unquote, scientifically of stuff for a few hundred years, and it's like, if that. So we don't know the patterns yet. We've kept track of the patterns the best we can, but yeah, I mean, we know the water levels. There's been multiple times the water levels have risen, and man, I used to know this one off the top of my head, but at the last one that they really kind of think maybe the Great Flood came from was, they say the ocean all around the coastlines was, man, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is right, about 300 feet. So about a 30-story building, like a 30-floor building high. And could be wrong, could be less than that, but I'm pretty sure, because it's really, I just remember it being like really tall, like at least 20 to 30 floors. So yes, that much of water was at one point. It just, yeah, it's crazy. Lost my train of thought there. Hold on, gotta get it back. Oh yeah, the flood myth and all that stuff. So yes, that would explain that kind of stuff, if the water level itself has come and gone so many different times. Or lower. I say higher. It's lower. Yes, it's lower. That's what I meant to say. At one point it was lower, and in Antarctica, they believe whatever happened might have been like a chunk, like a huge, like, football field sized chunk. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a climatologist at all. I really don't know much about that, but just through my personal fascination with ancient cultures and lost civilization research, one of that's something they've kind of tied together is, yeah, it was lower. So about 30 floors of a building of land was covered up. And even up here in Colorado, we live mile high. Denver, the capital, is the mile high. So we're a mile above the sea, and there's fossilized stuff up here. And even up in the mountains, when you go higher than even Denver, there's fossilized creatures. So at one point in Colorado, there was an ocean. We were covered by an ocean. So the ocean level comes and goes, and water level, that ties into yours with the water level. It may be leaving. Maybe we're at the end of our, you see, one of the great thoughts is that I think makes sense. Just if you look at it, Mars is basically what we will become at one point, just because of time and entropy. Entropy is the law of just stuff breaking down. It's something that happens in the universe. Everything decays time over time. The fourth dimension of time, they have entropy, and that's so eventually everything will decay and break down. And there's a really good chance Mars looked like Earth at one point, and there's a really good chance we're going to look like Mars at one point. And there's a giant, humongous scar on Mars, and that could be something that ricocheted maybe off Mars and took out a chunk of Mars and then hit us, and then we made the moon from that. Or maybe the moon came from that huge scar on Mars and bounced off Mars and then got close to us, maybe gave us like a love tap and nudged us and kick started life. Who knows, man? We just don't know. And that's where the fun comes into it, and that's where people got to remember it's all theoretical and just have fun with it. Like the Big Bang, yeah, that might have been how it happened, and but they still don't know. We really don't know. Everything keeps changing.
I just posted a link regarding how the moon was actually made. So that's an interesting, like, piece of information on there. I'm not reading it, but
Yeah,
You know,
no,
like
I mean, that's your idea is what the main scientists think too, is yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It's kind of common sense. And that applies into my favorite philosophical razor, which they're these theorems that they're short and easy to remember, so you just cut through BS if you start getting wrapped up in the BS or just the romantic side of things. It's just remember the razor, and Occam's razor is whatever's the most likely scenario is probably what it is. Like, let's say a black streak shoots in front of you. Was that a ghost? Was that an alien? Or was that maybe a cat or a bat? The most likely scenario is what it probably most likely is. 99.99 blah 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 said at the time. So yeah, if you common sense, you apply that to space. Yeah, like you say, the moon was chunks of us, something collided into us, and through gravity and dark matter and dark energy, these two spheroid or flat, you can get into the whole flat earth, flat moon shape stuff. I can't tell you which the shapes are. I don't, but I do know. I won't tell you. I know. I will tell you. I don't. I do not know. That is the thing I know for sure. So I won't be one of the person to say I know it's flat. I know it's round. I don't know. I haven't. I can't prove either. So I just don't know. I think they're both interesting ideas. There's more than just flat Earth and round Earth too. There's a bunch of different theories. This is interesting, man. We're just starting, I have like
this
a
is
little
what I don't know. If you be created by rock that came from either our planet or another planet here, right? And it's taken like 900 million years to form the moon, then how the hell does the moon get water when it's not, you know?
The elemental table, it's all these elements are all around us and we're always there, and it just, these building blocks were just used in its process, and whatever parts came off us or were in the vicinity of it, it's all of it. Water is hydrogen, water is H2O, which is a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's 2 parts hydrogen, I think. Yeah, H2O. Yeah, 2 parts hydrogen molecules and 1 part water molecule. You take those microscopic particles, and that's what makes water. It's just a bunch of those microscopic particles into that. So yeah, man, that the building blocks, that's what the periodical table is, or whatever that's called. I think I'm calling it wrong, actually. I can't remember the dang name now. It's been so long, but all those elements are all there. And they believe all these elements came from stars exploding, the heart of stars, iron, copper, carbon. We're made of mostly carbon and water and iron and some other weird stuff. It's really weird, man. Life is so weird.
So what do you think about the little bit of news that came out just recently about one of the guys who apparently went to land on the moon? It's owned up that he never went to the moon. He done it, you know. It was all down to money. Who is it now? Armstrong. It's the other one. Can't think of his fucking name is now. But one of the space pilots actually came forward and said he never went to the moon. So, like, you know, what I'm trying to say is that the information that we generally went to the moon in the 60s is another bullshit. We never did go to the moon. Can you hear me? Oh, Rusty disappeared. There we back. Rusty, where you gone? Rusty.
Hello. Sorry, my mic became unplugged. I'm having to hold a microphone like I'm a rock star. It's really annoying.
Yeah, they reckon that one of the space pilots came forward the other day saying that he did not go to the moon. He actually admitted that he never went to the moon. He'd done it to, like, you know, because it was all money involved.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin. Yeah, I saw you guys mention that. I don't know much about it. I remember hearing something. I don't know when this was. I think recently, about him taking a lie detector test that was published on the Daily Tribune or the Daily Star, like the famous UK tabloid that, you know, they do a lot of slander and stuff like that. So that's something I can't say for certain. That's like the kind of little tip. Know anything else other than that? If he did come out, I do know he has made some weird statements. He talked about a few years back about a monolith on the moon or maybe Mars. He's basically made it sound like it's an alien. It's like stuff for us to discover, like the movie 2001, like some weird monolith.
Creepy,
you know,
creepy colossal. Did you know NASA has reconfirmed Pluto as a planet?
Oh, really? They put it back. So there's no more. I think they called them Plutoids. Like they became anything past Pluto was instead they just were Plutoid class. That's interesting. See, I'm no way like super into that, but I don't know, man. All I know is the stuff from the last few years. My mind has been on work and just messing with my other channel and just playing video games in general, like other stuff, man. Because even though I have like one game that I really focus on my channel, I play dozens and have beat dozens of games in the last couple of years. So that's basically my main hobby besides work, which isn't a hobby. But no, I mean, yeah, it's everything's theoretical in the end, and we really don't know. So it's fun to talk about. Yeah, no, I wrote down all sorts of stuff, man, that we can kind of talk about. I can list off a couple things because after I watched that, I started thinking about really good paranormal evidence, and right away I was like, oh, you know what I did is I saw your Bible tip over that you re-uploaded the edit of it to that was interesting, man. I think I was there for that one. I can't remember, but that got me thinking, and man, I hope you re-upload or find a bunch of other interesting clips, because some of your damnedest awesome ones, man, that are just, I was there and witnessed, and it's just so unexplainable, and it's so hard to try to figure out how to give it a realistic material explanation for what happened. Was first is I'll talk about my second favorite is your connect with the shape in the kitchen, and you touched your hand on the Bible and it disappeared like instantly. That was so crazy, and it was around for like at least 40 minutes, I want to say.
No, I think it was about 45 minutes because I went out there and I was in the kitchen for about 15 minutes, and it's only until I said, hang on, let me try something else, and I put my hand up in the Bible, it fucking disappeared. But 45 minutes is there for, you know. I think that is possibly the longest ever connect capture ever. I'm not saying it is, but I think that possibly is. So I've never seen anyone ever connect hit on their connect box for more than 10 minutes, you know. That went on for 45 minutes.
Well, connect is fascinating too. Connect is one of those things that people are getting the same results all over the place. And it was something that started with parents. Just when the device came out, they were like, because it was made for family. So a bunch of parents got this for the kids, and they tested out, and they started seeing shapes being detected. And they're like, what is this? Why is it detecting shapes? And the company can't explain. They don't know why. And it got picked up by some paranormal people, and it just blew up. And yeah, everyone all over are getting the same weird shapes of humanoid-esque.
I think what the true story was that some guy had the Connect, you know, a young kid was playing Connect one day, one of his games, and you know, he moved away to go and get something, and he saw that there was something playing the game with him, and he called his mum out. I think it was. He said, "Mum, look, you know," and they were kind of like stunned. How could someone be playing the game when it, you know, with that boy when the boy's only there? It went viral on the internet, and that's how, you know, the Connect got picked up, I suppose. But they, you know, the guy who actually does it with like Ghost Adventures, I can't think of what his fucking name is now, but he was the one who wrote
Baggins. I love ragging on that guy.
not Sat Baggins himself, but the other guy who does the technical stuff for him.
Oh, he's actually really good. The kind of the older gentleman, right? Is that
one who actually wrote for the X Connect, apparently.
Yeah,
he was like
Bill Chapman or Chaplin. It's Bill. Yeah, he is awesome. That guy is really cool.
I mean, I've got to try and get Arran on. Yeah, but he's written up to date software on that, and like they still can't understand why they get all these anomalies, which is really unusual.
Yeah, no, it is something, dude. Clearly, something's happening. Something is happening with UFOs. Something is happening with ghosts. Something is happening with whatever weird anomaly, because people for centuries have been reporting these things, but we can't explain it. So that has always, like, it was kind of unsettling when I first thought of this, but that just really is kind of proof that we're just not there yet to understanding what it is. We're kind of at the caveman stage, figuring out fire, and that fire is paranormal and what's going on outside our five senses, essentially. Yeah, sweet. No, hell yeah, let's have Arran on, man. He's cool. I haven't got a chat with him. Let's try to keep it just us three. I don't want to get. It's just easier, less people.
Yeah, I was going to try to get Simon on as well because he had a lot of good, inspiration the other day, but he's not answering.
Yeah, I really like. Yeah, hopefully we can just.
But I think with I did come up with other topics like like the Yeti, Abominable Snowman, and Bigfoot. I think they're all from the kind of like same groupings that they've moved away like thousands of years ago. We all moved away from like different parts of like the world, and you got Chinese, you got English, you got German, French, and different kind of like cultures. And I suppose with the Yeti and the Abominable Snowman and Bigfoot, there was a culture that did not kind of like hit the revolutionary kind of thing, yeah, and got stuck behind us kind of thing. So I feel like they are still like humanoid, but they never kind of like evolved like we did.
Yeah. Okay, and then so that leads me to the number one, your number one capture that I was there to witness, that I actually made an enhanced version of. I hope you still have that on your channel. That was
I do have that still, yeah.
Is the orb, dude.
I've actually got it on my hard drive as well still.
Dude, that two separate light anomalies form out of the middle of the stinking room, and they look like they merge slowly and methodically and at the same pace, travel into your door, and then a few seconds later, in a smaller form, still round light orb pops out the side of your door to the right of your door handle. And then like a few seconds after that, another orb comes across the closer to the camera, and it is just the damnedest. I honestly think that is the number one most jaw-dropping thing I've ever seen, because you just, to me, that is an orb. That's when you see dust orbs and all that, it's so questionable. But to me, you get to see it start from manifestation, point A to point Z. You see that go in and out, and it's freaking crazy. It is the damnedest, most paranormal thing I've ever witnessed. And I was there, so I can confirm it really happened. Well, you see, I don't know if I honestly, it's been so long. Maybe, yeah, I can't remember. It was on your live stream, right? I can't remember now. Oh, the third. Oh, I just remembered the third one. God, see all these now. I may not have been on any of these, but it just seems like I was there because it's all just a blur now. This was a couple years ago. But the third one is the camera, your living room camera. I want to say it's the left one when you're walking towards that main door. Was on the left side, and it turned on its own slowly, ever so slowly. You had to fast forward so we could get through it, and eventually it turned from right to left, and as it hit the left side, it knocked off and like dangled there or whatever because of the cords. And that's crazy. How the heck does that happen? These things are so unexplainable. Yeah, those were a handful of ones that I just remembered from your stuff, man. I know you have a bunch more. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones. I can't. What's up, Aaron? By the way, hello. Sorry.
So yeah, we were saying about space, right? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The moon was created by a collision with another planet. So another planet collisioned with the Earth. That which caused the moon, and you can't exactly say the moon is. The Earth is correct circular shape because obviously the collision. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we just think of it as a sphere. Yeah, it's not even close to a perfect sphere.
The reason only I can think of is that they found water vapor on the moon is because obviously the way the Earth created was by meteorites and asteroids which contain water and iron. Obviously that's how we got our water on this planet, and that's how the moon we've got their water on there. And the reason the water wasn't contained on the moon because obviously the moon hasn't got no atmosphere, so the water vapor just escapes and stuff like that. It's similar with Mars because the Mars core stopped working. That's the reason why, and that which build up all carbon dioxide and whatever gases in there in that atmosphere. So because obviously the core stopped working on Mars, that stripped that atmosphere, and that's why you never see no water on Mars. It's because it got sucked up into space.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. No
obviously
atmosphere. Yeah.
because obviously there is a possibility of water obviously under Mars rock.
Yeah. Well, and
But
there is frozen polar caps, and
exactly.
at least according to what science, we got to take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, there is that too.
But yeah, that's the way the moon was created, and
Yep. It's our
so
best guess, it seems like, and it does seem to make sense. Just kind of.
like Steve said earlier, the way the Earth was created was the fact that you've got gases, dust, rock, asteroids all coming together.
Yeah.
And that's what created us. And if it wasn't the fact for Jupiter, we wouldn't have been here today. Because the
And
man,
Saturn. Yeah, they're like our guards.
yeah,
They
especially
keep
Jupiter,
guard on
because
us.
the amount of asteroids that brings into that planet, if it wasn't there, there'd be pummeling us like hell, and there'd be no life on this planet at all.
Yeah. And Jupiter has, I can't remember the number of moons, but it has a lot of moons that also act as bonus kind of gravity wells to attract stuff and make them slingshot into different directions. So it's like this. I mean, if you can look up images of like the trajectories of the moons, and it's like basically a huge spheroid object with all these like sentient sentinels guarding it all around it, as well as to cause all these crazy ways things are deflected and moved out. Yeah, hell yeah, man. No, for sure.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah, because if you want to find life in this solar system apart from us, they need to go to Jupiter and Saturn moons, because that's where life is right now. Because fair enough, they may be far away from the sun, but they're getting all their heat and energy, what they need to survive, from them, from Saturn and Jupiter. Because the massive pull of gravity they get from them two planets, that's what's causing life.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say Europa. I'm trying to remember the name of the couple. There's Europa, I believe, is one.
Yeah, Europa.
There's like a ice planet that's very good chance there's liquid. Yeah, Titan. Yeah.
Titan's one of them, and there's a few more.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly.
It's like Venus. That is the evil version of Earth.
The hot version.
It's exactly the same as Earth, but apart from its sulfuric acid. It's got liquid, but it's methane liquid. It's not water. That's what basically. If we was
yeah, here you, Steve.
If we're the exact same place as Venus, we'd be exactly the same. We literally are in the perfect place.
Yep. The
so
Goldilocks
really, then the planet,
and Mars.
So really, our planet was probably formed in the same way. Then probably like from another rock.
No, exactly. All planets were built from the same base core elements that just coalesce together through gravity and dark matter. It seems like dark matter and dark energy has some effect on this stuff too. We just don't understand this stuff. Like,
because there's more rock in the
squished it all together.
There's more rock in the what's the word I was trying to say, in the inner of the solar system than the outwards. So that's why the outwards you've got more of the gas. So that's what created Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn.
Yeah.
But
how many planets out there do you think have got actual like life forms on them? Do you think Pluto might have?
Define. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to define life. Do you mean life as in us, or do you mean life in bacteria? Because if it's bacteria, practically every single planet can have.
Yeah, I know. Like even the Mars and like Moon and Jupiter's got
every single planet in the solar system.
I mean, like us, like humanoid or
in our solar system, extremely unlikely.
Yeah, bacteria I think can survive space too. I think bacteria can survive.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Tested it. It's mad.
Yeah, it is seriously.
If the stories are true, where obviously I know Steve, you said about Buzz saying, "Oh, they never went to the moon," but you need to find a video that actually says no, they didn't go to the moon. But the other stories of the other astronauts said that, I think it is documented and videoed as well, that you can hear them say there is a ship over there. This is when they land on the moon. There's a ship over there and they're watching us. So is there aliens on the moon? Possibility. That's why maybe they've never gone back, because they've been threatened.
Yeah, it is really weird that we never went back. I've always found that so odd, and I don't know. I remember a couple of years back, China was talking about. I don't know whatever happened to that. Like China was supposedly getting close to making their moon mission. Like,
yeah, because originally it was the race to the moon between USSR and NASA. I can see the conspiracy things because the way you used to look at the videos, it is unnatural the way the guy stood up, and you can sort of see the string and stuff. But that's the thing. Then you've got other astronauts saying when they've been in the what's the thing called, International Space Station, they've seen some weird shit which shouldn't be there.
Well, the only thing is, right, the other thing is that people actually, you know, I did have one, but I don't know where happened to it. But people with like normal microscopes have seen stuff on the moon, and they actually reported it, but it's been kept like away from the public, isn't it?
So that's the thing. Apparently, if you sometimes watch the NASA feeds, they do cut. Because when NASA do their certain streams, they have it as public as well. And a lot of times they cut the public stream off because they don't want the public to see certain things.
I do remember one video, I don't know if it's still up, but some guy was doing a YouTube video stating that he had photographic evidence through his high quality, you know, expensive telescope that he actually saw, which he believes might have been structures on the moon. And it did get released, you know, pictures got released from the person, you know, throughout the social media, but some reason they were rather quickly. And he actually said that these look like structures on the moon. And, you know, when you saw them, they look like...
Was it like the Google Earth or Google Moon or stuff? Was that what the person was using in there?
I don't know what he was using, but I know he did a video on it, and the video went down after a little while. I think it's the government that went around there.
Dude, if you mess with Google Earth and Google whatever and go to places that people say, it does look like structures. And then, but you can also look around and find weird structures yourself. So it makes me question how much of it might be structures or just some weird artifacting process throughout however that crap is made. Because I'm sure it's very expensive and complicated.
The way it could even just be the way, like, you know, the rocks are formed, you know, making it
exactly.
But dude, there's definitely unquestionable anomalies throughout the space program, throughout any of this stuff. And so, I mean, it's unquestionable, but I can't say for certain the answers, like, did we go to Mars or Mars? Did we go to the moon and all that stuff? But I do know that it's undeniable that there's all sorts of questionable footage and photos. And man, one of the most damning ones is there's a clip of one of the astronauts. I can't remember what shuttle they're in, but they make it look like they're filming from inside the shuttle, and they're filming what looks like behind the astronaut is a porthole, like looking out at the Earth. So it makes the Earth look all small and round or something like that. And like a cloth falls off and it shows that the Earth is much closer than it actually is. And this is real legitimate footage. And so they've done these shenanigans. They've done a lot of shenanigans. So I can't say if we did go to, I know that I know that the damn cameras, there's these weird clips of there's all sorts of odd photos, obviously, but one of the interesting features to me is the crosshairs on these really expensive cameras. They're etched into the glass lenses. Some of the crosshairs are like overlapping some objects, and nobody can explain this, not even the creators, the manufacturers. It's this weird unexplainable anomaly. So going back to Occam's razor, what makes more sense? These things just happen and somehow this weirdness is what reality is, or these things are fake, but maybe they did go to the moon, but maybe they lost all the footage. Maybe something bad happened. Maybe we met aliens and they had to recreate it all. I think that makes more sense to this questionable footage.
I don't think we.
But I can't say in the long run. I do know they lost all the telemetry data. Like, you lose the proof that proves that you go to the moon. Like, how do you do that?
You got to look at it, right?
Yeah, there's so much weird.
They're in the race to the moon with Russia. So instead of, obviously, they can say, right, shit, we're not going to beat Russia to the moon because we ain't got the technology. Why don't we just go to the desert, film some stuff, make it look real?
That's what they did do, innit? They had their own kind of like.
That's what I think. It's a mix of some real and some like. I think at this point, like, I mean, I can't say for certain. I haven't been to space, but I think there is an outer space, and I think that our planet is a spheroid shape. And because just my own observation of other planets, and a simple thing like a soap bubble create like without any sort of anything touching it, just kind of like the raw elements of nature around it, it creates a spheroid object. So I tend to think that's
that's the other day, right? I put a video up when I was live streaming regarding, like, people state that the first land on the moon was fake, right? Now, I played a video where it showed you detailed proof that the landing wasn't real, and that when they showed you the astronauts jumping around on the moon,
Yeah, but
it
still,
was all done by wiring, for one thing, yeah? And you could not jump around on the moon like they did at the time, because if they were jumping around, there's no, like, oxygen or whatever, like no kind of like pressure around them. They should be jumping a lot more higher than they were, for one thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
but Steve, that's the thing, right?
Then they were saying about the shadows, that it shouldn't have cast shadows. Then there's the other one where there's no wind, and like they stating that the flag was moving when the flag shouldn't have moved. So that's what they was trying to point out. That's the 3 points of proof that could not have happened on the moon, and that was like done in a fucking warehouse somewhere in America with probably like the low tech CGI,
Right.
fucking
Steve,
video.
right, there's a good chance that could be correct. However, those people proved that. How do they know that? Have they been to the moon and felt all that type of stuff? No one will ever know if they went to the moon or not.
Well, true, but there's no proof that we did go to the moon, though.
Yeah, I'm just hoping
Exactly.
another country goes soon, man. That's what I got really excited when I heard China was like gearing up for their Mars, or their their moon program. And so I was like, wow, this might like actually definitively give us an answer, like an outside perspective that's not influenced by our educational system. So
what happened to all these so-called rock species they brought down from the moon? Then there weren't no real proper evidence on that.
Dude, that reminds me of another NASA shenanigan. They gave, I want to say, Norway supposedly a moon rock, and it turned out just to be like a petrified stone or something from Earth and not an actual piece. So there's like all this weird stuff that's documented and real. That's this shenanigans.
I'd rather believe a fucking meteorite. If they found a meteorite somewhere and knew it's a rock from outer space, and they said that come from the moon, I would have rather believed that than a fucking petrified piece of rock.
But saying that, you can find, it's pretty common to find fucking meteorites on this planet. You could walk around anywhere, and you may just find one out nowhere. You can tell.
Well, yeah, I think I actually found a small one.
You're saying that there's a guy that does magnet fishing, MFA. His granddaughter actually, Roman girl, actually pulled out, which they believe may have been a meteorite. And the thing is that they threw it back in the river, and people who watched it said, you should go back and get that, because that really does look like a meteorite. And they found that in the river. And the meteorite is like magnetic, so it will be picked up by, a magnet. And he did go back trying to find it, but he never did. And everyone who watched their video, they must have had at least half the, viewers who commented saying, that's a meteorite, you should go back and get it. That's worth money. And if it weren't, to get it money value, it could be, it is from like, up in outer space kind of thing,
Like I think the average rock size ones aren't worth anything, but if you get like a bowling ball size one, I think they can be worth like easily tens of grand.
Probably bigger than a golf ball. A golf ball size.
I think about the size of a golf ball or so. I can't say for certain, but
I think it's around about the same size as like a tennis ball size,
Dude, there's one in Africa that's like the size of a king size bed, and it weighs like, I can't remember, but it's like crazy heavy, and it's like in some village and worshipped and all this stuff. I remember reading about that in National Geographic years ago about meteorites. It's this huge chunk. It's all kind of like a bed shape too.
How big of a meteorite does it take for it to like affect the Earth? Like they reckon that a meteorite actually caused the first ice age. So how big was that?
Look at, I think the most recent one was where it went over Russia and blew up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the Russian meteor 2007, something like that, maybe 2010.
And it literally blew out every single window in this town.
Yeah, and it was documented by like dozens, if not hundreds, of dash cams.
It wouldn't have caused serious life problems.
Yeah, but how big was it though?
It was
How
pretty
big
big.
was it?
It was pretty big. Yeah, I can't remember. I want to say the size of a car, maybe bigger. Bus. I don't know, but
it was probably bigger than the car. But because where it exploded,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's pretty big actually. Yeah, it exploded in midair. Yeah, that's and they think something like that happened in that Russia place also happened in the Tunguska, which I think is in Russia too. The Tunguska event of the 60s or something, where like thousands of acres of trees were just like blown down.
Blew out all the trees.
Yeah, they think some meteors blow up above land instead of hitting land. They're loose packages of space gunk, and they get so hot they actually will blow up before. And that's what they think makes the Libyan glass in Libya. There's they find these rocks that have been heated so hot that they turn to glass. And so they don't know. These are all theories those ideas are just coming into fruition in the last decade. Like nobody ever thought about meteors being packed loose and not solid. So it's some crazy stuff, man. You know what? Researching that Russian the recent one with I found an interesting factoid into that is the reason why it was captured by so many dash cams is that technology is ridiculously cheap in Russia to get a camera because of insurance fraud and like everybody hitting each other. Supposedly it's like so cheap that everyone and their grandma has dash cams.
Yeah, a typical thing in Russia, people just run out into roads.
Crazy.
Or they're just fucking suddenly brake for no reason and wait for you to collide into them.
Thankfully to those crazy maniacs that are trying to defraud people, we were able to capture a crazy freaking event. Yeah, it blew out I did do some damage, but I don't think anybody was killed. I think people got like cuts and bruises, maybe just getting like window shattering and stuff like that.
It's just mainly buildings getting their windows against
knocked about. Yeah, that's crazy. That's really cool that we witnessed that. Yeah, I mean that's very possible. Something like that might instead of an impact that what they think took out the dinosaurs, maybe it was a giant one that blew up above, and it just like I can't remember, but they say it's hotter than the sun. It creates an explosion hotter than the stinking sun. It's so crazy.
Well, the one that apparently killed dinosaurs went into the Mexico Peninsula and
exactly. But again, that was proposed at a time when no one was even thinking about rubble piles. That's what they call them.
That's what they're saying. Is the fact that because obviously it wasn't exactly the collision that killed the dinosaurs. It was all the rock and crap went up into the atmosphere, then come back down and caused all fires and
a nuclear winter. The sun, there was just the sun wasn't at no one. Yeah.
You had massive, huge tsunamis, and that was it. It's exactly like if the Yellowstone goes off, half America are going to go. It's going to get blown up. Then, because of that, it'll cause a
chain reaction that most life will probably become extinct. Yeah,
there will be what's
crazy?
Word I'm looking for a new ice age will go.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the nuclear winter, where it's just the dust goes into the atmosphere and it will literally give clouds throughout the entire planet for I don't know how long, probably years.
It could be months to years. You never know.
It's either, like you said earlier, we'll either screw ourselves up and fucking like make our planet unpopulated anymore, or we would probably get an invasion from another planet.
Right. This way you got to see it is that if it's a natural disaster, it will be a super volcano, no matter what. There's nothing else on this planet right now was supernatural, whatever, can kill us all. Apart from
and geologists say it's late. Geologists say that throughout the pattern that they've figured out that it's late and that it could happen basically anytime. Yeah, that's kind of freaky.
I think what triggers it is one of the big earthquakes. Once that happens,
unless we blow ourselves up by another third world war or something, you know.
Yeah, but that's not natural. That's not a natural cause. That's human error.
No, natural. But you know, anything could be natural. You could have like tidal waves, you know.
Yeah, but a tidal wave's not going to cause the whole Earth to go like
that.
Well,
if you had like an actual meltdown in like Antarctica, where the water just suddenly like.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
With people overnight. that killed billions of people.
Yeah,
you guys, dude, the UK would be wiped out, but I'm in the middle of America, so I'd be safe next because it would just flood the coastal lines.
I can imagine Rusty hearing the news saying, like, you know, a tidal wave's hitting America. He's going to be running up to the fucking mountains.
Dude, I'm a mile above you guys. Hello down there.
Right, with tidal waves and volcanoes, that shit. Right, say if that island, I think, around Japan, half that goes in the ocean, which is expected to happen. The east side of America, that's going to be washed away through a huge tidal wave. If the west side, obviously, Yellowstone, that'll happen. And obviously, with global warming, obviously humans have sped it up, but this way, scientists have actually seen it. It's been happening since the dinosaur times.
Yeah.
So it's always happening, global warming. We've just sped it up with all carbon dioxides and all that crap. So then if it does melt, the UK won't all be flooded. Some of it will be. London will be, because obviously the connection between the Thames and the sea. The middle of the UK be fine. I'll
be dead before you, Aaron, put it that way.
You don't know that.
Well, yeah, I live in Mitchell. That's London, so yeah, you know, if the Thames
London and pretty much places like Venice and London, any coastal or places that are close to large bodies of water that are connected to ocean, would just gone.
Yeah, but Scotland, you'll be okay because you've got your mountains you can go and climb up and be safe.
Yeah, just sprint up the mountains.
Yeah, but you sound safe. I live near the Thames, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Dartford. Yeah, so you might get hit before me. Yeah.
But a day, if it happens, it happens.
Well,
dude, there's just so much stuff that we won't know that could happen at any moment. It's pretty crazy. It's crazy.
That's the thing. With even NASA and stuff, they haven't found every single asteroid that can collide with the Earth.
Oh yeah,
like a couple of years ago, there was a massive asteroid just missed the Earth by a couple 100 million miles or. So
yeah, it was really close in galactic scale. Yeah, and I don't think they found out about it until like a month out or something. And so it's basically, if it would have hit us, there's nothing. Yeah, that reminds me. I want to say it's Apophis that is the next big one in 2020 or 2022, somewhere in the 2020s is one that they're tracking that they think is going to get close in May, and it's huge. It's bigger than this last one supposedly, and that's why they called it Apophis, the Egyptian god of death.
So that's the thing. That's where you got to see.
How many disasters have been mentioned in books, you know, and like, you know, famous fucking scientists and saying, oh, and in the Bible, you know, you're going to die in like 2010 or 2017 or whatever.
Whoever fucking believes in those fucking stereotype fucking things are fucking idiots.
Yeah, there's always every year the world is going to end. Every year it's going to
end. What the Mayan clock? Oh, the Mayan clock's finished. We're going to fucking die. No, it just fucking ends and restarts.
Yeah, it just restarts. Exactly. It's just a new cycle. That's all it is. And that's what the Mayans will tell you. That's what the actual archaeologists will tell you. It just got blown out because of Hollywood and all that stupid money-making shenanigans.
Now, the thing is, right, I'm pretty sure that, you know, there are people out there who've got, you know, their own fucking, like, buildings under there, you know, like what they called, in case you had an atomic
bomb, like a bunker.
A bunker. I'm pretty sure that even if we get like fucking like covered with water, you know, the people with bunkers may still survive through any kind of like disaster or nuclear fault, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, how long they go and survive under a nuclear atmosphere? Not very long. They may have fucking tins of foods, but they still have to somehow get oxygen.
You've got food that can last 2 to 4 years, haven't you? So it depends on how long, you know, it depends on how bad the radioactivity is, I suppose, you know.
There's just no way to tell until it happens.
Well, look at that place.
The thing is, right, what I'm trying to say is that they reckon, like, you know, with the things that was going on, you know, during World War II, especially with Hitler scientists, no, I know it might be changing the topic slightly, but they reckon that the Germans have got this fucking great big base over in the Antarctic. Can't even say it now. Antarctic. You know what I mean? Antarctic. And like, you know, they reckon there's hundreds of thousands of people living in this like underground bunker, which is like 2 or 3 miles, you know.
Yeah, but that's the same fucking thing where people think aliens live as well.
Well, yeah, they say aliens live with us, you know, amongst us under the sea and like under the ground, and they're supposed to be like hidden cities. You know, like if you think about it, what's that one in Asia where that guy found that hidden city when he was just knocking down a wall in his house? You know, that city went for fucking miles and miles and miles. You know,
Yeah,
and like,
oh, are you talking about the underground one?
yeah, the underground one,
a cave network, like
yeah,
that was found by somebody that was remodeling their little hut and knocked. Dude, that's in Turkey. I worked with a guy that went to that. That is crazy. There were supposedly thousands of people living in that too.
yeah.
Crazy,
Well,
crazy.
you know, just think, you know, there could be fucking hundreds and hundreds of cities under the planet which we don't know. You know, from like hidden like groups of people that have like decided that, you know, if there is going to be some kind of like shit happen to the world in the near future, they want to be ready. They want to be protected.
Oh, for sure. There's so much to discover in the Earth still. I think the Russians did the most 7 or 9 miles. I don't know how many kilometers that is, but yeah, it's not that far actually. And I like the analogy of look at the Earth like an orange, and the main outer crust is like the outer skin or whatever of the orange. We've barely like dug into that. We've only like gone into a pore of that. Like, it's crazy. The Earth is so big.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are like hundreds of different like little groups of people building their own kind of like undercity, like underground cities and stuff like that.
There's awesome Doctor Who about that. Man, I can't remember the damn names. The reptilian race. Man, kick my ass for not knowing the.
I do not believe in the reptilians at all.
Oh man, yeah. I don't get me started about David Icke and all that stuff. You know, to each their own, and if you follow what you want. But yeah, that gets into the really silly stuff. That's like where I draw the line. Is it's getting way too silly and pretty obvious, I think, in some degrees. So.
Because if that was fucking real, they'd take over by now.
Well, they reckon that there could be Italian kind of like humanoid people on another planet.
Yeah, but that's another planet.
Because the thing is, right, if you think about it, when I said on the stream overnight, right, and it's kind of weird that the technology we got now is like really accelerated over the 50 years. You know, we never had this technology.
You look at how fast, obviously, you see we've been flying in the skies and shit like that. Yeah, it has excelled really quick.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, they state though, right, when I said about Star Trek, the things they had in those series, we never had. It's just like made up. But now we've got it.
Yeah,
we've got like fucking screens, we got tablets, we got PDAs, we got all this information. So where's it all coming from? It's not like where someone said, "Well, we learn." I know we learn, but I reckon like we're getting this technology from some kind of like aliens.
Yeah. Dude, that's what my dad thinks, and it always stuck to me because he is such a hardcore atheist and like scientist guy that thinks everything is BS. But he's witnessed supposedly with his mom, my grandma, and multiple people a UFO in broad daylight. So even though he doesn't believe in like all this crazy stuff, he thinks that there's some sort of alien thing. And at Area 51 when that crash happened. 1947, something along those lines, is when, and it's interesting because that's when computer technology really started taking off. And so, he thinks that was all, we found something, we reversed the technology to the best we can at that point, and it's been slowly evolving from that. So,
well, apparently,
but then I've actually seen a UFO. I honestly saw a UFO with my mate Richard Norcutt when I was really young. It was probably about 10, 12 years old, and this was down in Bexley Village. You've got this big park. I think me and Arran, or me and Juan, was going to go do this park area, which I mentioned. But when we got there, we realised that there was like, a community of like gypsies living there. So we didn't take the chance. So we went back to the cemetery. But where those gypsies were, there's like this big open field. And, I'm talking when I was around about 10, 11 years old, we actually sitting there on this field. We was having a picnic, right? Me and my mate and his, family were sitting there, and we noticed that everyone kept looking up. We thought, what are they looking at? And we saw this kind of object in the sky. It looked kind of like semicircular, but it's like, it wasn't circle. It's like a cylinder type of like object, yeah. And it was going from one it was going like one way 1 minute, then backing itself and going backwards to the place where it started off, and it's just going like, back and forwards, up and down, left and right, crazy kind of like speeds. And we thought, well, that ain't no fucking aircraft. It's not a balloon. No, and we just didn't realise what it was. We thought it was something unusual. And a few days later, I'm pretty sure that was actually advertised in the paper saying that, UFO sighted over Bexley. And we actually saw it ourselves. I swear on it, we saw it. So, that's what got me kind of interested in like UFOs and stuff like that. But I never really got that interested in like doing like research. I just thought, well, if that was a UFO, then we can't be the only people living on, in this universe. There's got to be other planets out there, which is
right, Steve.
Kind of thing.
No, obviously, typical what people think UFOs are, like circular discs. Do you know where that originally come from?
I know where the popular media route came from. Let's see if Steve knows.
Yeah. Do you know, Steve?
Well, I suppose from people's sightings, the way they...
No, saying that, it's the fact that back in the day, I can't remember what it was, I think maybe the 60s or earlier, I think it was early in the 60s, War of the Worlds. That's where it comes from, where people started to fucking freak out because someone put it on the radio and they said, these UFOs or circular discs, and that's where the hysteria started, all that type of shit. And that's where people assume where circular discs come from all the time. I think.
Well, the thing is, it ain't just a circle. It's like it's a guard. They've seen it like a triangle.
They see all sorts of weird shapes. I also know a factoid that's a little older than that I found through my own research of where the term was first used in media in America, at least, and before 2 weeks, really close to the UFO, the Roswell crash sightings and all that. There's a pilot that was flying in Washington State, and he saw 6 or so silver craft flying, and he reported it to everybody. And he used the term flying, that they looked like they were skipping across water like saucers. He didn't use, I don't think he used the term flying saucers. He just said skipping across. That's what they looked like. And the news media in the States started using that. And then I think War of the Worlds was right after that. And it just all blew up. You see, that's why I think there is weird alien stuff going on. Whatever it is, it's stuff that we can't comprehend. But our shady government and other shady governments across the whole world has taken advantage of this as cover stories to funnel money into black ops organizations. Like, I bet you NASA does their science stuff because they do want to figure out some stuff out, but it also makes them look like they're doing science stuff. And I bet you that NASA, along with numerous departments and all sorts of unknown departments, just get billions and billions of money funneled into them. It's crazy.
That's where the Men in Black are supposed to be.
Dude,
real.
The day before 9/11, our vice president, I think he was Dick Cheney, slimy looking son of a gun, man. They went out in public the day before 9/11, the catastrophe, and said that they have misplaced trillions of dollars. Maybe it's billions, but I'm pretty sure it's trillions of dollars that's unaccounted for. And then the next day, I'm not saying, I can't tell you what happened on 9/11. I just know what I've witnessed. But the next day, all that stuff happened. And then the stuff that would tie in paperwork to all that supposedly was at the Pentagon that got hit the next day. So there's these weird shenanigans that is really hard to not tie together. Like, even if you're completely unbiased, it's like, okay, these are weird things.
It's how I see 9/11. Probably may piss people off, but fuck it. I believe that America used that to go to war. The way, if you ever seen the conspiracy videos where the media on like live news, the way they recorded stuff and you see the plane go towards the towers, is impossible.
Yeah, the whole thing is just really weird.
One thing also I don't understand as well is when the plane hit the Pentagon, what happened to that plane wreckage?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, man. Yeah, when you look at it, especially now, when you look at it a decade past in retrospect, there's just even more weird stuff. Yeah, in the long run, we know what happened. We know that something happened in New York, and we know that we went to war. So either our government was involved in making that something happen to propel ourselves into a war that really seems like for oil in retrospect. I mean, it's really hard to deny that it looks like the whole thing was for oil.
That's the one funny bit. Apparently.
Oh, and opium. The now all the opium fields in all these places are being guarded by United States I don't know if they're Marines, but military personnel. So it's like, what are they doing in all these? What's going on? And these are all real things.
Trying to hide things, conspiracies.
Yeah, I think the main thing is to keep us confused. There's just so much stuff going on that they can get away with. They can get away with stinking bloody murder right in front of our face, just because there's so much stuff going on to distract us.
What was that Taliban leader, the famous one?
Which one?
Taliban leader. What was the fuck his name was?
Osama bin Laden. Man, now we just got hit on something's recording us now. So
apparently the rumors was, if it's true or not, he was a spy from the American government.
Well, I know what the facts are. The facts are that the Taliban was trained by either the government or by the CIA to fight the Russians. This is factual stuff.
That's what a lot of people don't realize about all these Taliban and whatever. America created them. They provided the weapons to them, and it backfired.
Yeah, we still do that with other nations, man. We go in there and meddle, and we give these rebel units, we back them up to try to take down and create coups and stuff. It's crazy, man.
Yep.
Crazy freaking world.
I'm going to be taken down after this bullshit tonight.
Dude, it always reminds me of my dad. Because my dad, if you mention anything like that, he's always like, it's something just clicked on.
The US government didn't like what was being said on your channel, so we've taken your channel down.
No, Steve, you're just going to get knocked out the door with two guys in black suits. You just shut up.
Yeah, but they reckon the guys in the black suits are fucking aliens as well, kind of thing. So
that's
am I going to be stopped on the? Am I going to have a knock on the door from two alien creatures dressed in black, and they're going to come and probe me?
There's a YouTube clip about the Men in Black. It was
I think I've seen that.
Two Men in Black agents walk into a hotel. Then they apparently specifically want to speak to someone, but that person wasn't there. And literally, you see a boy walk out and literally stare at two people. And what they've said, the two guys had no eyebrows. They had big eyes. They look exactly the same. Literally no emotion in their face at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of reports of that. It's definitely a common report.
Another weird one was where this is years ago. I think it's between 60s and 80s, where it was in this country. This guy was taking photos of his little girl in front of a lighthouse or some shit, and you see this astronaut, whatever, in the background in one of the photos.
I've seen that photo.
And next day, two guys come up and say, "Okay, where did you see these people? This so-called person?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" And their two guys make him go to the place. Then strangely, NASA capture on their own live feed. I think it was NASA anyway, or the European Space Agency. The same person in this so-called space costume at one of the rocket launches. And these two people question the same person that, how do you know this person? Why is that person there? It's really weird.
Yeah, weird.
So that's the thing. Aliens could be walking with us right now and you never know.
Yeah. That would explain why I get weird vibes off people. They're just they aren't from this terra firma. Some people I just get the weirdest vibes off, and I still can't explain what the hell's going on.
Arran,
what?
Look, hang on. Hold on. I'll screen share it. That one.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Photograph is still captures what appears to be an astronaut standing behind her. That's the one you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Then the following day, two men knock on the person's door in black suits. Coincidence?
So how the hell is a fucking guy standing in an astronaut suit?
I think there's a series of photos too. So it's just in one of them he appears. It's really weird. Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's the thing. They said, "Is that your wife?" No, she wasn't there.
They were just sorry, drinking water. They were just on a cliff edge, and she was just prancing around playing like kids do, and he was just snapping photos, just nonchalant, you know, just typical stuff. Supposedly, I wasn't there, but it's a weird one. Yeah, that's I haven't thought of that one in a while.
So that's where the Men in Black film is based on, the real Men in Black.
Why can't I post the link on my YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, even the very first UFO crash that was documented in a newspaper has those reports. I'm pretty sure. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's people that reported, because there was a few sightings. There was at least 2 or 3 sightings that were reported that newspapers went and interviewed these people that weren't related to the government and stuff. So
there's the famous case in this country, Bennington Airfields, where it was. Where the
is that Rendlesham Forest?
That's it, Rendlesham Forest, yeah.
That one's an interesting one.
Then there's suddenly 2 guys wearing black suits questioning the soldiers. Then there's another article somewhere else. You see someone in a black suit watching someone in, I think, a New York street somewhere, and just watching them. It is really weird.
Yeah.
So the only people, if you should ever believe, if they've seen aliens, is people from the army or pilots.
Well, yeah, and that's why my dad sticks with me, because he's just so damn skeptical about everything. But that the sighting he had turned his view that we're not alone in the universe. But he won't tell you that it's like a silver. But he just doesn't know. But he knows what he saw. He saw this weird shape in the sky, and he can't explain it. And that's it.
That's the thing. Apparently, a lot of pilots are scared to come forward because they lose their jobs.
Yeah, well, you can't blame them for sure. Yeah, benefits, if the family insurance, medical. Yeah, of course. And but you see, I think there are pilots that have legitimately witnessed stuff, and I think the government is taking advantage of that fact and planting false information as well, and muddling the waters so that it's more confusing, and that there's better chance that people won't believe if there's more crazies going around saying stuff left and right. So
I think one of the most famous one was the Asian flight.
The one that disappeared?
No, it was a cross-Atlantic flight. It was Asian pilots, and they kept seeing big balls of light dancing around their front of them, and it's looked off. It's even like when you hear the stories where jets get called out to go and investigate these things, and they can't keep up with them. They just dance around the jets like nothing.
Well, I know in the States, I may be wrong. It might have been World War One. I can't remember if the plane fighter planes, but they called them Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even know what to call them. That's just what the slang was, because everybody used like slang at that time.
Yeah, they're big orange balls of light, and
it's crazy, man.
That's why Hitler was obsessed with aliens and stuff. That's why he created the bell, and and somehow end up the bell lands in somewhere in America out nowhere.
Yeah, that is a cool story. I don't know why, because like in theory, I should hate everything about and anything tied into Nazis and Hitler. It should sour my stomach, and I should not be fascinated with. But I'm fascinated with how they were fascinated with the occult and the supernatural and stuff like the something blocking the giant bell or whatever in English. Yeah, man, that is such a cool story.
He sent even the diggers and stuff to Africa to find relics. He sent to Egypt for the to search for the Covenant and stuff.
Dude, Spear of Destiny. They were looking for all of those big occult-esque, like legendary things. I think even like parts of the cross that Jesus was supposedly on, like anything that could use the power. Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, all that crazy stuff.
They had advanced jets compared to the Allies.
And then Operation Paperclip, the United States and the UK swooped up all the leading rocket scientists and just general technology scientists, and we formed NASA out of that, and whatever you guys did with your guys. And I mean, I've been in the UK. I know it was a few countries that were involved with that, whoever was the coalition or whatever, but Yeah, no. So that's what's crazy. So Werner von Braun, however you pronounce his name, the head of NASA that created this Saturn rocket. The Saturn rocket is what I think it was the Saturn II is what they used to supposedly get to the moon, but the Saturn I is what they used to bomb your guys' city. And what's crazy is years later, after we went to the moon, Werner von Braun was awarded some sort of prestige medal, I think in London or somewhere around there, for getting to the moon and using the Saturn II, which ironically was in the area that the Saturn I he built put into piles of rubble and killed. That's so crazy.
And I'm pretty sure it was creating a rocket to destroy America as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Germans have always been light years more advanced than us. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
I reckon though that a lot of these scientists, from any country, were actually aliens. Not saying they were, but there's a story going around that all these famous scientists. I'm like,
even people that have influenced history. Yeah, they could have been aliens. Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi. Einstein, Tesla.
Even people like that supposed to be like aliens.
That's very possible, man. It's also possible they're humans and they just were geniuses, or it's possible maybe they were like possessed, for lack of a better term. Maybe who knows, man.
I think there's one of them. Obviously, he wasn't an alien, but he said when he went, he could literally go into dreams and stuff where he actually went to. It's like an out of body experience. He literally went to these places.
Yeah.
He spoke to them. He went to their planets. He went flying through the galaxies and shit.
Yeah. Well, dude, I got really into Buddhism, and if it would have to pick a religion, like if a gun was in my head, I'd probably say that, just because that's my kind of like I gel with the philosophy of the universe. But ancient books of them, thousands of years ago, through their meditation techniques, they said that they've traveled interdimensionally, and that there's humans throughout planets all throughout the universe. There's all sorts of humans, and there's Buddha / Jesus / Einstein type people come and go and influence their evolution and help them better themselves and stuff. So it's really interesting. Really crazy stuff.
You never know. We could just be a genetic code of other humans, and all these humans are just dumped on this planet to see what happens. You never know.
Yeah.
We could just be one step.
We could be a fucking scientific laboratory experiment for all we know.
What is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Aren't we just a giant calculator to try to figure out what the meaning of the universe is, or something like that? Like we're just basically a giant calculator, nothing more than that, to the powers that be.
Been dumped here from another planet, Right,
I think
let's start off from scratch. Stone Age, let them learn. If they don't learn quick enough, we'll have to come down and help them. And that's when, as I say, we've got the
apparently with
aliens and shit like that. They come down and help us all the time.
See, I think apparently with nuclear bombs, aliens are really interested in that. They destroy them, which is weird, or they activate them as well.
Well, they say that sometimes what's been going on, that aliens think we're not, evoluting quick enough, and when we do, they have to come down and stop us from evoluting too quickly, because with the technology and stuff like that.
That's where apparently these abductions are, to change genetics.
Yeah.
It is weird. I mean, even science can't they'll tell you we evolved, and they believe that we evolved from primates, but there's still a missing link. There's this just gap that we don't know what happened. And there's also in the timeline, the whole scale of things, our cranial size and our brain just exploded and got bigger in a very short amount of time, and we don't know why that happened either. I know Terence McKenna thinks it was the stone ape theory, that we started experimenting with hallucinogenics and mushrooms, and that it expanded our brain and made us more creative and intelligent. It's crazy stuff.
So that's where one of the Egyptian kings ran it. They're supposed to be aliens because they've all have their skulls.
Yeah, Akhenaten. He's got the crazy skull. He supposedly was the first one to make monotheism, the one god, because before him it was like numerous gods, and so he changed up Egypt, and he had a really weird skull and a really weird body as well that they can look at.
Because the weird thing with Tutankhamun as well, how you pronounce his name. A lot of British and Western men are related to him.
Yeah, a lot of pharaohs.
So
Yeah,
could Europeans be aliens?
yeah. No, exactly. Well, if they are, then yes, then we definitely then. If those pharaohs could, because yeah, there's numerous. I think there's at least a handful of pharaohs that they've been able to track through, because in that time, if you didn't procreate, you weren't a god, and to be the pharaoh, you had to be a god, and to have a lot of female acquaintances meant you were very virile and very powerful. So yeah, they just did nothing bang on their off time.
And ain't the 3 pyramids lined up with your Orion's belt?
Yeah. Oh, that's we're going into one of my favorite subjects.
And where these obviously, if the aliens have come to this planet, they're which are from. And if
yeah,
from,
in that area, there's a lot of cultures, dude. It looks like it, if that's the case. I want to say they're African. I think they point to the same area as their creation. That kind of just that area in general. I think there's few cultures that.
Yeah, you look around the world. You obviously got ones in South America, like the Mayans. They were, they always worshipped the gods.
I'm trying to think of that island when they found those stone. What's the name? Those stone...
Easter Island.
Easter Island.
Yeah, that's it.
Those are called moais. The technical term for those heads are moais.
Yeah, they reckon that there's a load of like other islands which have the same similar kind of thing, and it's all to do.
Well,
with,
dude,
like,
a bunch of islands have been flooded as well because of that last ice age. So there's probably all sorts of Easter-esque islands that under the ocean.
Yeah, but didn't they dig on Easter Island actually found the whole statues?
Yes, dude. That was something that I just came out recently too in the last 5 or 10 years. Yes, I guess some are heads, but then some are full bodies that are buried. It's like, okay, what the hell's up with that?
They've actually found. I think they've actually found like these weird spears, like these round balls on them as well, didn't they? I think.
Well, dude, all we know is that when the Spaniards or you guys or whoever it was that first wandered on that island, they were a dying culture. They were starving to death. There's basically even today, there's almost no trees on the place. Like they literally were an isolated culture that was just about to become extinct, and we found them. And so what we know about them is from this dying tail end of them. So who knows what actually occurred there, man? It's crazy.
Then obviously, yeah, you got the Mayans just suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, the whole area, dude. Just in Tikal. Tikal is one of the more famous Mayan city capitals, I think it was at one point. But just in that place alone, the archaeologists and anthropologists feel that they've only maybe uncovered 10% of the actual city, and that's just one place. There's countless other cities and places to find that are just were swallowed by the jungle. There's really cool YouTube footage from the university that was the one to uncover Tikal originally, and they it's not, I don't think there's any audio, but it's color and it's really old school footage. But they went there and they have all this film footage of the before as they're taking the stuff apart and the after, and it's fascinating. And that stuff they believe happened in a really short amount of time, like a few hundred years or something, or maybe even less. The jungle just swallowed it up.
Here's what they found on Easter Island, all these weird stone.
Yeah, the Moai. I'm trying to remember the name of the people. Maybe the people are called the Moai, and I'm getting the name of the heads wrong. I can't remember that one for sure. Yeah, that's a really cool one. I remember, and I think it was a Johnny Quest cartoon. I was a kid to where the Easter Island was actually a place that evolved creatures, and we came from there, and apes went there somehow, and the rocks were all vibrating, and it vibrated our DNA and changed us. Just an old United States cartoon, but I remember that.
I'm pretty sure I recently found cave paintings of like giants, and even the people back then, they've like even painted UFOs and weird alien beings.
Oh yeah, dude, those old paintings are awesome.
They found like prehistoric, where they reckon.
Wait, what's up? You cut out there. Could you repeat that?
I'm just saying, like they said that all this, like goes all the way back to like the caveman time, where they've actually gone into like caves where cavemen may have lived, and they've seen like all this like kind of painting where
So
the
that's the
cavemen.
thing. That's the thing, because there's two species of humanoid. Obviously you got us and you got the cavemen. They basically mated all the time. So we literally wiped them out, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, supposedly there's still like I think 1 to 5% of Neanderthal in all of us right now. That's the remnants of that past culture or a species that we lived with, whatever you want to call them. They're basically human. I always looked at them like us, but
it's
just
basically
they're tougher.
it's basically what you just said, and Homo sapiens. We're Homo sapiens, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I think
And,
that that's I'm not an anthropologist, but yeah, I think that's Homo sapien Neanderthal or
we're
Neanderthal
Homo
or something.
sapiens, and basically we mated with the ones you said, and literally they died out, and that's why we're here. So
yeah, I guess they were physically bigger than us. Like they were kind of like we were kind of the chimpanzees and they were kind of the gorillas.
well, I don't know.
But I think we were just smarter
I
than them.
understand. That's it. Yeah, we were just the smarter ones.
Yeah, we
Then,
we were able to outwit them in the
yeah,
long run.
but then we're basically, are we the aliens? And they're not the.
Yeah, right. That's an interesting thing to look at. Yeah, we basically, yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, interesting. They were the originators maybe, and we came in and we're like, screw you guys, we're taking over.
Exactly.
That's interesting. They just don't know. There's too many errors and also just gaps in that.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
I think, like maybe you said earlier, that there is. I think there is. I think they did come out and say there is a missing link between us, between all these groups. There should be another humanoid in there somewhere, but there isn't.
Yeah, no, exactly. There, exactly. And well, just in the last decade, I think it was 7 years ago, we found what is now cataloged as a new species of human biped-esque people. I can't remember what they call them. It has a fancy Latin name, but the short-term form are the Hobbit people, because they are literally these pygmy small people that coexisted along with us and Neanderthals for a certain amount of time but they were isolated, I guess, from us, but we lived on this planet at the same time, but they were isolated in some part along this line. I'm definitely not an authority of that, but I know that's a relatively new species. So yeah, there's probably giants that even today we have really tall people. So those are probably the remnants of the giant-esque humans that melded together with us throughout this process.
What was that movie, that sci-fi movie, where there was a colonist up on, I think, the moon or some fucking planet, and they found that there was proof that there was some kind of like people that lived on there, and they done like a DNA testing, and they found like that we have got like 3 cholesterol or something, or whatever it is, some kind of like 3 DNA, and that planet where they found these humanoid bodies had 4.
Yeah, Doom. You're thinking of Doom. Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. That was really. I thought that was really cool how they did that.
That was a cool movie, but there could have been like another kind of like breed of people on here, which were taller than us, because like they even found proof that there was even people that was a lot bigger than us, weren't there? There's like people around about 6-7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not taller. Yeah, exactly. No, we've barely scratched the surface of what the planet is. We've only been keeping records for a few hundred years.
And like I said earlier, the Bigfoot, Yeti, Bonomo, Snowman, they could have been like us, but they didn't.
The problem is the problem with that is the lack of evidence. Yeah, you may see some photos or whatever. Has anyone ever caught one? It's
more hearsay information, really. But it's just saying if it was real, it's true. Were they part of our evolutionary? Did they just not?
Well, there was a giant ape that they found. They call it, I want to say it's Australopithecus or something, like a humongous gorilla, a gorilla on steroids that was like 8 feet tall or 9 feet tall. So yeah, at one point that stuff, it did exist. And so that's why some scientists have taken Bigfoot research serious and really looked into it, because there is evidence of past creatures that did look a lot like a Bigfoot that we kind of have romanticized in our media. So yeah. I don't know. Though all these answers at the end of the day, I can't tell you the answers to them, so I won't pretend I know. But I tend to think if I follow my Occam's razor and just go, what is the most likely scenario? That might be it, but I can't say for certain. I love kicking these thoughts around though, you know, just these brain exercises. So cool. I haven't talked with people like this in a long time. I just make my videos and I work and I'm really quiet.
2 years of leaving us out.
No, it wasn't 2 years. It was a year, maybe. It wasn't 2 years. Jeez, make me say.
I think I last looked at your last video, and it's like 2 years, something like that. I'm sure
it might be, dude. I don't know. I have all that. Like I said, it's still all there. It's not like I hided it and I deleted it or I'm ashamed of it. Dude, I'm actually very proud of that stuff because I stuck to my creed and I
think the reason why you went, as you said earlier, it's all down to the drama shit that kicked off.
Well, that was part of it. It wasn't the whole thing, but that definitely helped. Yeah, I mean, it was in that with the combination of just kind of answering my own questions. To my answer is I don't know the answer, but through 100+ ITC sessions, I confirmed to myself that something is interacting with these ghost boxes. Is it every time? Is it every question? Probably not, but I think something is interacting with this stuff. The hard thing is proving it, and that's why scientists can't prove this stuff because it's.
Yeah, what are we communicating with? Is it really like, you know, spirit from past life, you know, humanoid, or, you know, are we talking to aliens, you know?
Well, dude, I was thinking about this earlier today, man. I really haven't thought about spirit stuff in a while, but a wild idea came up to me. It's like, there's billions of people, countless people have died. Why isn't there billions of spirits just like all over the place doing something? Maybe they're all in a certain dimension, like purgatory or like something like that. And what we are actually talking to are not like our dead father or whoever, is that they're like a middleman that's like an operator that links you quickly to, because we always in EVP and ghost boxes, you only get like a few words as a response. You only get this quick breakthrough. So I was thinking maybe that would explain why this happens and why there isn't an overflow of paranormal stuff. Because if ghosts happen every time somebody dies, there should be billions of ghosts, and paranormal stuff should be happening to everyone constantly. So it's very sporadic and it's very random.
Yeah,
so.
But then you could obviously have like a Tyrannosaurus Rex walking through your room right now. You never know.
Well, yeah. I mean, other dimension. We're so limited in our sense. Dude, just the light spectrum alone, we only see a sliver. We see like a teeny sliver of what is actually occurring light-wise around us. Dude, there could be all sorts of stuff.
That's a good thing about animals. They can sense stuff. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's why dogs and cats, and other animals,
apparently with like dogs, they only go toilet a certain direction. They'll never go. I think it's even.
Dude, I just heard about that like in the last year. That is so cool. Yeah, that is weird. And cows will always stand like the same direction or something like that.
Then look at birds. They always follow a certain.
Yeah, that's the magnetic stuff, and those may be ley lines. That may be proof of actual ley lines, if you want to call them that. I think it's not like lines to where they're bands. I think it's just there's energy everywhere, and certain places are stronger. So you could draw a line in theory, but it's more like a topographical look at the planet. I think is a better way to look at ley lines.
I actually did a video.
Spots.
I did a little video yesterday over Mitchell and Common, and I went into one of the places where I felt really creeped out. And now, usually, that area is really always full of bird life, you know, but yesterday it was dead quiet. No bird life at all until I started moving a bit further up. Then I had a crow. Now, crows are usually like supposed to be messengers of death. But, you know, everywhere I go sometimes, I don't hear as much bird life than there usually is. I don't know, it's because, like, you know, they fly to another part of the world, you know, hibernate or you know,
that's the thing
that's weird when that happens.
With blackbirds and crows, they're one of the smartest birds out there. They'll literally watch people. Even say there's one story that one crow watched someone literally feed some fish with bread, and it literally watched it all the time. Then one day the crow got some bread, dropped it, waited till the fish comes up, and caught the bird and killed it and ate it.
Yeah. Dude, just the other day, I threw out a piece of really stale bread and a crow picked it up and he immediately went over to a pond and started dunking it into the water, showing intelligence that he knows that it's a tool. He's using it to soften it. Dude, that was crazy. I was like, holy crap. I didn't expect that at all. Like most people wouldn't even recognize that, I guess. But to me, it blew me away. I was like, holy, that's a tool. He's using a tool right there, basically.
Yeah. So basically, that's either him loosening it up for him to eat or he's waiting for a fish to come up. And he's going to pick the fish up.
Yeah, that's so crazy, man. Hell yeah.
Like some of the blackbirds around here, they're not scared of cats.
No,
they're literally.
There's something going on here. Right, just as I said, yeah. Rusty says, yeah. Right, and I just typed crazy, and Rusty just said crazy.
Weird. We're connected.
It's like sometimes around here, the crows are not literally scared of anything. They'll chase cats away.
Yeah.
Even once when I walked my dog. And literally, it tried to attack my dog once before. It literally swooped down and try and peck him on the back.
I know when me and Simon done that with Mitchell and Common, there was crows around there, and that was like late at night, coming up to like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I thought they would have been all sleeping by now, crows and other birds, but no, there was fucking crows. He done like he's conjuring. And there's a crow flying around, and when he forgot to close the conjuring down, he had to go back to the tree to close it down. And there's a crow there. Then
they're extremely smart birds.
I know some Native American cultures around here. I can't remember the one, so I'm not going to say it. But I think there's a couple. The crows are like messengers and stuff. They basically can carry. Yeah, there was something else crow related. I was going to say.
Yeah, like Steve said, they're supposed to be like messengers of death and.
Yeah. Yeah, have you guys ever gone camping and right before a storm hits, like 5-10 minutes before a storm hit, it's creepiest at night. The forest will just go dead silent. Like all the insect, all the animals, they know that the storm's gonna hit in the next like 10 minutes and just goes dead quiet. And then the storm all of a sudden that is so cool.
That was apparently the crazy shit what happened in Japan and stuff. All the animals fled because they knew something was happening.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, exactly. They're on this different energy wavelength than us, clearly. Yeah. Wait, what do you call a group of crows? Is that a murder? Is it a murder of crows? One of those weird names? I think it is. I think that's what you call a group of crows. That's weird. Or maybe that's ravens, a murder. I can't remember. One of them's kindness. I think one of them's also like a kind. Maybe it's crows or a kindness of crows and a murder of ravens. It's really weird. That's what I don't know why they term that for the group terminology.
I always thought a crow and a raven was the same bird, actually.
I think they're related, but they're not the exact same thing. I think they're just like really close.
Many birds live alone, but crows live in a group called a murder. Most people would call them a flock of crows. Yeah, so basically, it's a group of murder.
Yeah, that's so weird. What a weird name. Yeah, going into energies too, like bats will use their weird internal energy. I had when I was moving into the place I'm at now, I was moving at night and a bat was flying right out of my face 1,000,000 miles an hour and it just smoothed around my head so quick, so crazy.
Yeah, because I used what's it called?
Echolocation. Yeah,
I think they go by the direction of the sonar. They use sonar.
Yeah, echolocation. They send out this little pulse or tick or sound, and then it bounces off objects.
You're saying that echo stuff. You've seen that blind guy?
Yes, I've seen a couple.
Trained himself to use echo. That's crazy,
dude. Yeah, they can bike ride. I want to say skateboard. One of them, I remember seeing.
I think one of them actually drives a car.
Yeah, that's crazy. They can tell a tree. They can tell a car. They can tell any object from the material, from the sound bouncing back.
Yeah, and this guy goes all around the world to train people how to do this stuff.
That's so awesome.
I just don't get how you can train a brain to do that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. I mean, we take stuff for granted. I mean, I've always kind of like the analogy of ghosts and spirits are kind of like the sense that we can't have. Like to like if you cut off your nose, like let's say you were born without a nose, you would never even know smells existed if you never had a nose. So ghosts may be this other sense that we just don't have or haven't developed.
Even
And
like look at dolphins and whales and stuff. They use their echo stuff to find fish and to communicate with each other.
yeah,
They use sonar, don't they? Sonar.
yeah.
But
I think it's all the same. Yeah, sonar and echolocation. I think it's just this using sound to
literally
send out and bounce
exactly,
off
exactly.
stuff.
You're
Yeah.
bouncing off stuff. So it's similar stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's how they they're finding a lot of cool old ancient sites through using that technology to send into the earth, and they can find structures under the earth too with that stuff. Yeah, supposedly they did that at the Sphinx, the Great Sphinx in Egypt, and there's supposedly a chamber under one of its paws. And there's been rumored for years through countless people, esoteric and philosophers and all sorts of people that, yeah, that there's this hidden room of a wealth of information from a lost civilization, the civilization that helped spawn the Egyptians, because they can't explain it. It's still weird. What the Egyptians just appeared, and they appeared at the height, and then there was a decline, and we still can't explain that. It's really weird. They don't know.
See, that's the thing, yeah. That is basically the rumor of the Egyptians that they are mainly European. But then at the end of the day, why would Europeans be in the Middle East and Africa and stuff like that? There's no reason why would Europeans be in Egypt unless they had to be there.
Yeah, no matter how you cut it, Egyptians, ancient Egyptians are such an anomaly. They were able to do things that we still can't produce, or we still haven't even figured out how they did that.
Yeah,
obviously
they
with the
move
pyramids.
all those large rocks and make them in a pyramid.
Well, you know, some of the oldest artifacts that are also some of the most anomalous are these stone jars that were found in Dozers. So it's one of the older in their timeline. I think their timeline is incorrect, but in their dynastic timeline, it's one of the oldest pharaohs. And there's these stone jars that at the time they shouldn't have been able to make this. They shouldn't have had any sort of technology. Essentially, you would have needed a wheel to create this, to make this how we know it. And through history, they say the wheel was brought to the Egyptians by the Greeks or the Romans. I think it was the Greeks. And I don't know the year. I'm not going to try to pretend to remember. Maybe 70 AD or BC. But yeah, so according to scientists, the wheel wasn't in Egypt until the Europeans introduced it to them. And I think they're incorrect. I think there's just no proof of the wheel because it was made out of wood. And I think they had the wheel back way before, because why? It would explain how they were able to cut these things much quicker, because they say the Great Pyramid was built in 30 years or something like that, something crazy. Like they would have had to have been placing a stone every minute or something crazy to build it in that timeline.
Yeah, but they reckon some of those stones come from like thousands of miles away.
Yeah, they were cut in some, not all, but some of them. Yeah, definitely cut. It depends on the stone, because the outer casing of the pyramid, the big pyramids in Giza, the one we all know that we grew up with, the outer casings are actually gone. You can see the remnants of them on the Red Pyramid. One of them you can see at the very top, and those were all taken out to use. And that was, I want to say, granite, which is a harder rock, extremely hard. And that hard stone was quarried from a place way far away. I don't want to say the miles, but it was, I want at least dozens of miles away, that had to be cut and transported along the Nile. And yeah, and the inner casing is limestone, which is really like a soft and easy to cut one. So that one seems like that one makes sense. But yeah, so they basically have two layers of pyramids on top of each other, which coincidentally act like an insulation. Limestone energy is able to pass through very easy, and granite, the hardest one, acts like a block. It blocks energy. So that's why the pyramid, the power pyramid, whatever the theory is, came to be that it was actually a power plant at one point, and maybe powered electricity, or maybe it powered something like energy that made the culture feel better. They don't know. But it's really weird that the Great Pyramid is empty in a culture that adorned their entire civilization with these most jaw-dropping, beautiful artworks. Inside what is claimed to be tombs, there's nothing. There is not one inscription. There's not one carving. Is nothing. It is like a machine inside that. It's really weird. And the only reason they tie it together is that there is graffiti at the top of one of the chambers, scratching what they think is one of the workers. They scratch Khufu in there. So that somebody went in there, wrote one name in there, and they say, oh, that's the tomb of Khufu. There's no evidence that it's even a tomb. That the evidence that it is a tomb is just as crazy as that it's a power complex, because there's no evidence for it. There's actually more evidence that if you look at the chambers and everything, that it may be something like a power complex. It's very factory-like. It's really weird.
Apparently,
it reminds me of the movie. It reminds me of the movie Alien vs Predator when they go in and like to that.
Yeah, that's sick. That pyramid's awesome.
Like they sort of a fucking time bomb in one way. Like all the things are like moving, all the different structures are going left, right, and center. Kind of weird. So I'm just eating my snack bar.
So apparently as well, the Sphinx was front of it destroyed. It was on purpose, like the nose and stuff. It's either rumors that obviously it could have been weathered down, but there's other rumors that it got destroyed on purpose because people didn't want to see. Some people didn't want to know. Some people didn't want other people to know what it really looked like.
Yeah. Well, if you look, you're talking about the Sphinx, right? The cat-like human. Yeah. Well, if you look at it, you can tell the head just looks so small. So I know a group of researchers that I love. They're some of my favorite. John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, and Robert Bouval. They're kind of like the rebels in this stuff that believe in lost civilizations. Yeah, they think that it was at one point an actual lion, and it would have been, if they drew a picture of it, and if you use a scale lion's head, it would have been perfect. And whoever came later, one of the pharaohs or whoever, they defaced it, essentially made it what it was. And then the nose, they don't know for sure, but I think one of the popular ones is that the French, like under Napoleon's lead, went down there and they were just shooting the crap out of it and defacing it. I think that's the popular archaeologist one, but I'm not sure on that. But I love the Sphinx. If you ever played Assassin's Creed Origins, I highly recommend visiting this. That's the only time I'll probably ever be able to visit the Sphinx, is in a video game. It's awesome.
Tyson said that
dude, there's a chamber in the back that people have explored that they won't allow. So there's known chambers that the commerce or whoever the ministry or whatever they call themselves, they won't allow. There's all sorts of stuff, and there's all sorts of stuff that's still covered by the sand that you can see from GPS and satellite images. Yeah,
there is. Yeah, apparently a lot of hidden cities under the sands.
Tyson said under the Pyramid Giza, there's a river of water, and they have found. And
well, I know the Pyramid Code. If you have Netflix, the Pyramid Code has a really interesting interview with an old man that grew up supposedly in the area, and he's an archaeologist, supposedly worked with all sorts of English and American archaeologists, and he says that he grew up around there, and then there is these underground reservoirs, and according to him, that these reservoirs create an energy that was then funneled and transferred into the pyramid, and then that was used and transmitted across to feel good. Supposedly the pyramid Snefu's pyramid, that the archaeologists call it Snefu, but he says in his old language, Snefu is not a name. It means double energy or double vibration or something like that, because there was a pyramid meant to create a better harmony. And that the three pyramids we know today, the two big ones and the little one, you can look at the different colors. The small one was black, the middle one was red, and the farthest one was white. And that was the color of the stone that they used. And they shined it. They actually polished it so it shined like glass, so it sparkled from miles away. But
I'm just wondering.
He claims they're energy machines. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
You said that they had the inner core and the outer core. Yeah.
Yeah, the two layers. Yeah, that's just the layers. I'm
wondering if they keep the inner core to keep in the negative, spirits of the kings and the queens, because they every pyramid's supposed to be cursed, in it, if you go in and interrupt them.
Tombs. I don't know if it's pyramids, but it was. I want to say King Tut is the one that popularized it, because one of the guys got bit by a mosquito and he shaved the mosquito bite, and it got infected, and he later died. And then a handful of other people that opened that tomb. I think it was King Tutankhamun, one of the biggest finds, dude. And he was a small, pretty much unknown king. And I think they said they found $8 billion worth of gold in his little tomb, and it was a tiny one compared to the ones that were looted and already gone by the time Western found.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure someone took something from the tomb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all of them.
Later on, they fell ill and died.
I guess when he was found in the Valley of Kings, and in the Valley of Kings, there's something like 30 to 50 pharaohs buried, and supposedly pretty much 99% of it was looted and already dug out and dispersed across to whoever, rich people long before. So the rich Europeans, the rich, whoever, Americans, whoever went across, and as well as their local smugglers and bandits and all that. So dude, yeah, if one small tomb was worth 8 billion or it was 80 billion, it was I just remember thinking it was just a ridiculous amount, and it was a small one, like the smallest one they ever found, basically. So that means there's just so much gold and money that was plundered.
So that's the thing, because obviously you have the oh fuck, what they're called. Oh, it's gonna fucking bug me now.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess. The sarcophagus, the tomb, the coffin they lay in.
No, back those times you had a certain Christian group. What are fucking called? They were knights.
Oh, the Templars, the Knight Templars.
Yes, yep. They were massively involved in Egypt and the Middle East around those times.
Dude, yeah. Well, supposedly through my own occult research, like researching the Freemasons and Rosicrucians and modern occult, all their kind of philosophies and magic go back to those mystery school days from ancient Egypt, which supposedly, yeah, the Knight Templar, the Templar Knights, or the Knights of the Templar, or whatever, and all sorts of other people. Even Jesus Christ supposedly is rumored to have visited Egypt and learned from these mystery schools, learned this crazy way of thinking and living your life and ways to become immortal and all this crazy stuff. And yeah, it's really crazy. And now the modern day, at least in the States and in the UK, it's the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons. They're basically the holders of this mystery school information. Mm-hmm. Crazy stuff. Really crazy.
Don't start that fucking Freemason shit like that. How about that website we found that time?
Dude, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Holy crap, I haven't thought about that. Yeah, it was called like Eat Human or something, but it was spelled backwards. So it was like, dude, that was a weird time, Steve. That was a weird time.
No, it was when we found that site, you and fucking Simon tried decrypting some of that. And I think Simon did say he decrypted some of it, and like even when he decrypted what he was able to decrypt, there's still other stuff inside what he decrypted.
Well, that's what that is it's a library of esoteric and occult documents and books. You'll find everything from Crowley to famous Freemasons to famous Rosicrucians, like to Bible to different books. Yeah,
it's got like aliens and like
it's just an encyclopedia for the occult, essentially, is what it looks like now that I know. See, when we first wandered on it, I really was a naive person when it came to what the occult and the esoteric and these organizations, these secret societies were into. And just picking up a dang deck of tarot cards is what was my key to unlock all this stuff. Because then I started learning all these philosophical, esoteric philosophies. And then I found that all these organizations are tied into this. And it's like, whoa, okay, so these people that are supposed to be like no BS, get things done, build societies, are into astronomy and or astrology, I should say, where you like your date of birth and like the signs of this, like all the quote unquote modern day ceremonial magic, really is what you call it. I mean, some incantations, it depends on the person and how far they want to take it. And that's what those degrees are. The degrees in Freemasonry and in Rosicrucianism, you unlock more of this esoteric philosophy as you progress through their systems. Now, are they worshiping Satan? Well, hardcore Bible bangers will tell you that, because for centuries that they've been told anything occult is anything that's not their God is evil, and it's bad. So yeah, they're gonna say that. But my own research, they're just a group of modern day New Age people that use New Age thoughts throughout the end. So yeah, maybe they're Satan people. Maybe they're gonna kill us all, but I know they practice esoteric, weird occult philosophies from ancient Egypt. So weird.
Yeah, that website is fucking weird too. I managed to check this on there, like everything about the stars, the universe, galaxies, UFOs, aliens.
Yeah. I got a weird
let's
feeling
see.
off that website, that's for sure. Odd vibe.
Yeah.
But the weird
I
thing
don't
is,
need-
you talk about the Bible and stuff. The weird thing about it is that none of the people who wrote the Bible ever met Jesus.
Yeah, the whole and it's been rewritten, all sorts of the modern day. What we know was brought together in the city of Constantinople, I think. In the it's on tip of my tongue. Yeah, there's some committee of just rich elitists basically came down
That's
and
where King Henry, he wrote his own version for.
Yeah, exactly. Or King
Church of
James. I think
England.
it's King James. Yeah, the old King James Bible. I think that's what it
No,
was. Maybe
it's
King
no
Henry
King
too.
Henry. King
I'm sure
Henry.
they're kings. They can do whatever they want. Yeah.
But yeah, and like, yeah, how do they know Jesus existed if they never met him?
Yeah, it's hearsay at the end of the, I honestly think religious books are good as tenets to teach people how to be good people, because some people do need direction. Some people aren't born with common sense and they need help. And these books can be used in a good way, but then they also can be abused by people that are taking advantage of naive people. So yeah, but that's every facet. You can look at the same facet here in the paranormal world. You can look at it in my old grocery store with the political and the weird way people take advantage of people. Like, it's just in every part of life, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got really into decoding symbolism because that's what picking up that pack of tarot showed me, that there's this crazy language that the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians use to communicate not only with themselves, but to communicate histories and ideas and the weird esoteric philosophy. And supposedly the only way to learn this secret that they hold is through pictures and analogies. You can't be told this stuff. You have to go through this process of letting this stuff unfold for you through this decoding symbolism. It's really weird. I never noticed how I always knew movies use symbolism, but I never knew how much occult symbolism is in movies until after researching it. It is just very prominent in a lot of movies. It's pretty crazy.
But you're saying, like, Ed, Jesus ever was real? It's like, asking, is like the devil real? Is God real? Kind of thing as well. Because there's a lot of people who don't believe in God and the devil, do they?
See, that's where I am. There's no proof that says to me that they exist. There's no evidence they exist. You got science, but other than that, what have you got? You can say, "Yep, I've seen an angel or a white light when I passed away and I got bring back." There's no proof in that. That's your word. There's no proof. You cannot say, "Yep, right, I believe this person saw this person back then. I believe Jesus did get pinned against a cross, then suddenly bring himself back." There's no proof. You just got three people who wrote the original Bible. Then, like Rusty said, that ever since then as well, there's so many people have written their own versions of the Bible. It all gets gets all crossed apart.
Yeah.
No one knows what's real. It could have been a real person, but then it could have been one of those stories that where you grew up with, like fairy tales and.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's kind of weird that they're always changing the Bible as well, aren't they? Or taking books out and putting new books in.
For me, I wasn't raised with religion, but I had Christianity, like the primary around me. And I remember when I was a kid finding out that there was not only a couple, but just bunches of different religions. So I just remember thinking, not being really influenced by the stuff, like, okay, so who's right? Like, all these people are right or nobody's right. So what's going on? Yeah, no, it's weird. Religion is a weird thing.
It's like Adam and Eve and that type of stuff.
I was trying to say that.
And where the weird thing is with that, right? Apparently, incest is wrong, but wasn't Adam and Eve brother and sister?
Yeah, I don't know, but they were the only ones around, and they were created by the guy. So you would think, yeah, basically, technically. Well, hey, we know that other animal. I mean, we can. It's kind of gross to talk about, but we can inbreed. It's just there's a higher chance that the some sort of deformity. Not every inbred it comes out. Some inbreds are actually normal, supposedly. I'm not that I know from experience, but it's really weird. Inbreeding is something really weird.
It is. I think it's still common in like certain, obviously Middle East and stuff like that. But yeah,
you're talking like that. You're talking about the shit like, you know, like long term when you got those inbreeds where they like inbreed, you know,
they want to keep like a certain like family name or land or royalty, so they inbreed and keep the same bloodline. Yeah.
But they normally are all deformed, aren't they, when they do that?
Well, apparently
but
so.
Yeah, I guess there's a higher chance. Like basically, there's a more than 50% chance. So there's a more than likely they will come out deformed. But every once in a while, you'll get normal people popping out too. So.
But what actually causes the deformity? Is there something in DNA?
Yeah, it's the genes. Yeah, exactly. I don't know the exact thing, but yeah, it has to do something with the genes because they're from the same blood, same genealogy. It like corrupts the files, basically, like something along those lines. Like they don't commingle correctly because they're not supposed to technically. I guess. Yeah. So it's like an error in the coding. So like if you're playing a video game and you see a glitch or something, like it's, I guess, something along those lines, like an analogy, glitch in the system.
Yeah, like Yurik says, mutations basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know if anything's real back then because no one was around then. Anything could be real,
dude. And even at the point when we lost the great library of Alexandria, there was supposedly countless scrolls from all sorts of people brought in, all sorts of philosophers, scientists, and meeting of the minds. And when that was burnt down, all sorts of information was lost.
Yeah, wasn't that when the Catholic Church stole the stuff and burnt it all?
Yeah, I think it was all around that time. Yeah, it was when the whole Constantinople stuff, like the city of Constantinople. Yeah,
because there was a major scientist back then, and he said we're not alone out there. He pointed to the sky and showed all different planets and stars, but the Catholic Church back then didn't want everyone to think he wasn't alone.
No, it was most likely done. It was an act of terror. It was most likely to hurt the people. I know that the history books, because we can't go past a certain point in China. China is really, really old compared to us. Their history starts off with a certain emperor, because before that emperor, they had all sorts of different history and history books and different cultures and dialects, but he wanted to bring them all together under like one, which didn't work out because there's still all sorts of dialects. But supposedly at that time, that emperor basically deleted all of China's history, like its entire history, and then they restarted, and that was like 5,000 years ago. So that is really, really crazy to think about, that there was like an entire history that was just forgotten. And the Renaissance was so monumental because we found out the Dark Ages was basically the church putting a stamp on anybody trying to be their own person, basically, for a long time. And the Renaissance, where people found out, whoa, there was these Greeks, these Romans, these Egyptians long before us doing crazy things, and we had to relearn a lot of this stuff that we know today from these ancient societies. It's really crazy. That was the Dark Ages into the Renaissance, and that wasn't that long ago. I think the Renaissance was the 1600s. Like, really not that long ago. Yeah. We've been neglected as a species. We have been abused, and it's been mostly by the people in control. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Uncle, Auntie. Not your fault.
Galileo. The Catholic Church put him in prison.
Yeah, Galileo. Yeah, good call. Yeah, that he was a huge controversy because he dared to say that we rotate around the sun. I believe. I think that's what it was.
I think back then people believed the Earth was flat, and he called them out.
Yep, and the entire universe rotated around us because we're the center of everything. Yeah.
And obviously the Catholic Church didn't like that, so they imprisoned him. I think he was one of the scientists who had alien links. They believes that he saw this stuff, and
we can't really prove that aliens do exist, do we? It's just like here for saying information, like all the stuff that we see out there.
We can't prove that they're there, but the extremely unlikely, or extremely likely that we're not alone. It's
Yeah,
too
exactly.
stupid.
Well,
I
dude,
think
just the other planets, 15 years ago, we weren't sure there were other planets. And maybe there aren't. Maybe they're lying to us. But I know how they figure out there's other planets is they use light sensors to tell what kind of light is being transferred between certain objects to Earth. And through this light filtration, they're able to figure out that, oh, there's hydrogen on this planet. There's blah, blah, blah on this planet. And that there's a planet. They didn't even figure that out. And they supposedly figured this out through the wobble of suns. A sun will wobble a certain way, and they're able to figure out, oh, there's planets there. And then they're able to locate if that is, then they put their sensors on there, and then they start saying, okay, do we have hydrogen? Do we have oxygen? And yeah, so now 15 years ago, we didn't know if there were other planets out there. We had no clue. We knew there were other stars. We knew there were these sparkling stars in the sky, but we couldn't prove it. Yeah. Now we know, and now we know there's hundreds, if not thousands, and there's more every day that they find of Earth-like planets that may be able to sustain us. Really cool.
I think they discovered the other day actually, a huge version of Earth.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, man. They're probably finding them every couple weeks, I'm guessing. Like, yeah. I think last I saw just the list that they have to go over of possible candidates is huge, and there's more than likely that they're going to be filtering out tons of combinations. So yeah, it just takes time. They just have to go through each one and methodically see if it's what they say.
I wouldn't be surprised it won't be too long before we start going up there and building our own little cities up there and putting populations of people up there.
Well, you guys heard about the Mars mission of the one-way ticket that they're going to try to, I don't know when they're sending it, but people are signing up for it to go to a colony on Mars and try to be the first humans to survive on Mars. That's crazy. They came out in the news a couple of years ago, so they got to be getting kind of close to that. Yeah, you should sign up, Steve. They need you.
Oh, hang on, guys.
One-way trip to Mars.
Can I have $1 trillion donation, please, so I can go up to Mars?
Joe, if they said to me, right, do you want to go to Mars? I'll do it, to be honest with
you. Yeah, really.
They showed the interviews with some of the people, some of the candidates, and some of them were really excited. And, you know, I could, if you don't have a lot of stuff going on in your life and you want to experience something, man, there's nothing bigger than.
But the thing is,
I'm going to Mars.
But the thing is, they're going to pick doctors, scientists, chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't pick me. They're like, what could I do? I can clean a toilet and make a sandwich. Like.
Healthiest people. Any of you is a billion trillionaire, you know, they aren't gonna say, yeah, okay, we take you on board because you got the money.
But then also you got to look at that, because when you go in space, time slows right down. So you could be in space for 10 years, and on Earth it could be triple that. You can if you're in space for a year, you could go back to Earth and all your family could be dead from old age.
And so you've got to consider that, you know, the atmosphere is like minus 250 degrees below, so like, you know, that's gonna like take kind of like a hit on the old spacecraft as well.
Yeah, but they'll have everything ready for that. They'll have what's the one I'm looking for?
I'll start GoFundMe. Hey guys, I just need $1 trillion so I can put my name down for the trip to Mars.
Elon Musk is thinking doing it as well now, isn't he? Going to Mars.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. After sending a Tesla car into space, yeah, I would assume that's the next one. Yeah, yeah. I've heard people think that he's an alien, which, you know, maybe, or a robot from the future.
Well, the funny thing is, he literally come out of nowhere. That's the thing.
I know. In my reality, he did come out of nowhere. He literally came out. I don't remember this guy a few years back. Like all of a sudden, he's just everywhere. Like it's really weird. Yeah.
It literally come out of nowhere, released all these cars. How do you know he's not secretly working with the government or using these so-called technology where he got it from?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that he is kind of pushing the trend to privatize space instead of governments all going up to space. There's going to be businesses messing with it.
That's the thing, because they want to go to asteroids and use minerals and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so much money in asteroid mining. Yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy that the people are actually talking about that now in this day and age. Like. Mm-hmm. But then in a way, I guess you also can be disappointed that we're not doing that yet. Like, where's the flying cars? Where's the hoverboards? Like,
yeah,
come on.
But then, like also, like Steve said earlier, like with Star Trek and stuff, that back then they're the ones, even though it's like TV show, they're the ones that had mobile phones. They're the ones that had touchscreen computers, and now we've got them today.
Yeah. Oh, even their little device that can create something like Captain Picard goes to the machine, says Earl Grey hot. We have the baby steps of that in those 3D printers. We are making stuff out of almost nothing. Like, it's crazy. That's like the early technology of that.
Even warp drive, they're making that right now. But
yeah, I remember reading something about that. Yeah.
But the thing is, because it deteriorizes so quick, you need so much of it. Like I think it's like stupid amount of football fields to move it, just to go anywhere, like a certain amount of time, or space, or whatever. So you need.
Like sometimes, right? I know I talk a lot of bullshit, but some of the bullshit I talk about is interesting. You know, like, come on, you know, Star Trek. You know, 50 years ago we didn't have this technology, like we just said, right? And we've got the technology. You know, warp speed. I'm sure I said, like, you know,
we won't use warp speed for probably
getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. It looks like it's going to happen. Basically, it looks like it's inevitable.
It's just a matter of them containing it and making enough of it to propel ships. That's it. Because obviously, warp drive is simply you are bending space around something.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Then you've got to consider, like, if we got warp speed, we made a ship to go warp speed, then we got to do the technology of teleportation.
I wouldn't bother. To be honest, I wouldn't bother with teleportation. The thing is, you need to sort the gravity out, because once you're in warp, you're going to get ripped apart. You need shields and stuff like
that. And your body, just the force too. I mean, you would assume some sort of G force. Yeah.
So you need to build like certain titanium material.
Yeah, so like Star Trek. Look at Star Trek. They had to have like dampening fields. They had to have like
inertia dampeners. That's what inertia is. As you're moving forward, you keep moving forward until something stops you, like a brick wall. So yeah, that's if you can stop inertia, then you can fly like a maniac. That's what they think the UFO craft that can dart left and right. Because a human, if we were inside that, we would be smashed against a wall.
I think on one of the late Star Trek movies, like they didn't have as much like, you know, metallic like construction around their buildings. It was more like, you know, dampening fields and what's the other one? Dampening fields and
like a shield.
What's that? Yeah, like the shields and stuff like that around them.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you know, you're not you're talking about thousands and thousands of years before we get to there, I suppose. But
I don't think it will. I don't think it will take thousands of years. We're on literally the breaking point of doing it. We just like I said, they've created warp drive already. They just need to.
We need to get to the moon first. We need to really get to the moon or to another planet before we can go.
And it'll just get faster. Technology will get faster. Everything, the progression will get faster. It might not happen in our lifetime, but yeah, I bet you we're going to see a lot of this in the next few hundred years.
Well, it's fast, stuff. It's getting faster because we never had the technology, like I said, like 50 years ago. Now we got touchscreen fucking tablets, mobile phones, TV. You can go up to a TV and like turn a channel over by a touchscreen.
So you can imagine so much weird technology. It's imagine what's going to happen in another 50 years.
Yeah, could do, but I don't think we'll have like you know the technology where we can like.
I think in the next 50 years. We probably will set a foot on the moon or Mars.
Hell, the damn plane. The plane is just over 100 years old. I think it was 1911 is when the Wright brothers flew their first plane. Pretty sure it was 1911. So just in 100 years, look how much technology has come from in 100 years from flying a plane.
Yeah, no, actually, on the UK TV, they said like, you know, flight is 100 years old, and they was doing like a 999.9% 24 karat gold. Which originally was like 60 quid, but doing it on TV as promotion for like $4.99, and you get like a little Spitfire watch as well. So they're saying like, you know, aviation is like 100 years old. So like, but you know, we probably was flying before that time anyway. You know,
you saying obviously about this flight and stuff, and go back to Egypt. Didn't they find in Egypt in the pyramids that there were pictures of I won't say
Spacecraft,
pictures,
yeah, yeah.
indents of helicopters, submarine.
Yeah, that one's debated because the official story is that it's a couple of pharaohs' names overlapping each other, and the artwork looks like something we'd recognize. But I can do you one better. I want to say it's Saqqara. They found a small bird, a wooden bird, and it turns out this bird is perfectly aerodynamic, and they made a mocked up, scaled, larger version of it, and they could fly it perfectly identical to like modern day flight orientation, all that stuff. So it may be a toy, but somehow they made a perfectly aerodynamic object that can fly in our when we recreated it and put it in our special stuff. So, dude, maybe that's what the pyramids are for. Maybe the pyramids, they would climb up to the top and like hang glide. Like who knows? Maybe they'd jump off and just fly for like a few football fields or something. Who knows?
I know we probably get like warp speed, near, but next probably 100 years or 200 years, but then we've got the hyperdrive. That's going to be something different, isn't it? Hyperdrive.
Well,
that's faster than the warp.
hyperdrive's unrealistic compared to warp drive. Obviously, hyperdrive's like from Star Wars. That's practically unrealistic.
Yeah, where you're just going super fast. Yeah. You can't really do that because we would probably just a small pebble would make an impact hole in a ship. Yeah, like Arran was saying, you have to like become a taco of space and time, and space and time folds around you, and you're moving literally through space and time instead of the actual like outside material.
That's what Star Trek is.
Yeah, exactly.
Space around them.
No, but the thing is though, with Star Trek, a lot of the stuff that we've seen on Star Trek has come like true to us really. Like as I say, with most of the technology we got, but it's like you're traveling. We never knew that we'd be able to fucking create a car. But now look at the cars with the technology in there, the safety procedures that's in a car. You've got seat belts, you've got the cushions, you've got like talking computers saying like, you're speeding too far or something like that. So like, who knows? Like, after we've done like, I suppose like warp speed, we got the technology and the know-how, and if we get the technology given to us, I suppose like, we might be able to do hyperdrive. We might be able to do that teleportation and stuff like that.
Yeah, teleport. I think that would be the next step, is like literally deconstructing your body into some whatever digital or whatever and transport.
It's going back like to that movie Doom. Like they teleport.
Yeah, I think that's what they did there. Yeah, they were more teleported instead of like or transported.
Do some kind of like transportation from Earth to like fucking.
Well, like in Star Trek, they had those the travel. What the hell they call them? The where they dematerialize and be put in a different ship. The transporters, yeah, exactly. I remember a really cool Next Generation episode where one of these side characters was really freaked out about the transporter, and it ended up they picked up some other creature from another dimension. Yeah, that's so cool.
No, it wasn't even a dimension. It was somehow where humanoids got messed up in the
in space-time, in like the sub-layer of space-time, something like that. Yeah, that's right.
Genetic codes got lost and mixed up. And
yeah, they were just in there in this like limbo. Yeah.
It's like space-time continuum, weren't it, or something?
Yeah, something like that. But then also, you can look at stuff like Stargate. That's possible. If you can get the right things there.
Yeah, I love that idea. Like a doorway. Yeah.
It's like teleportation, isn't it, from one planet to another?
Yeah.
It's just like
Stargate does it so cool. It even shows you the wormhole. It's just like a tube you're traveling through as two different doors.
That's what they talk about as well, wormholes, because that is a quick way to go through space.
Well, yeah, exactly. So there's like a few different ways. Yeah.
A wormhole is another way, but like you also got a black hole, but a black hole is like sucking things into like
dude, I just read something recently that they're really strong belief now that the center of black holes is just a doorway into another universe. Like it's like a pretty well accepted theorem now between big wigs.
So man. If we ever got sucked into a black hole, we wouldn't survive, I don't think.
No, you won't. 100%.
But the thing is, like, our planet may survive it just barely, but we wouldn't.
No, you won't. The planet will get ripped apart.
They have a cool term for it. If your body or whatever you're in goes into a black hole, it's called spaghettified because you get stretched apart like spaghetti. So they literally call it spaghettified.
That's where you see black holes, because once they eat too much, they have to let it out, and that's where you see the pulsars come from each side of the black hole.
Yeah, that's some crazy. That's another thing that 30, 40 years ago they weren't sure, and a lot of people actually scoffed at Stephen Hawking with his whole. He was one of the big guys that brought forth the black holes and stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, we're still dealing with infantile thoughts, man. In the long run, these are a lot of smart people, but it's still really new ideas that 500 years from now we're going to be looking at ourselves like pretty much like cavemen. It's pretty crazy.
It is. It will be like.
Well, I suppose I still cavemen to kill alien life forms at the moment. If there's an alien life form out there that has got technology which is like 10,000 years more advanced than us, we're cavemen to them because we've only just barely scratched the.
Oh, absolutely, we will be.
We've only just barely scratched
well, dude, even on our own planet, I think it was you guys during World War II or something. You were landing on some Pacific islands, and the tribal people thought it was either you guys or us, but they thought that they were gods because they landed in this crazy machine and were bringing like canned goods and all these gifts. And when they left, they literally built edifices like statues for the planes, like wanting their gods to come back because these people were gods to them. So yeah, dude, it's gonna happen like that for sure.
Well, guys, it's midnight gone. I'm going to close down in a little while. I want to get up early and get out and do something today.
Yeah, sounds good.
But
we just scratched the surface, man. Like seriously, like
we can have another conversation later in the week if you two are up for it.
Yeah. Try to again sometime. It's been fun, man.
Like Thursday or something.
This Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, I actually might be able to do it this Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm not sure of, but this Thursday is a good chance. Actually, I could do it in a couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Thursday. I'll do a stream if you're around. We're in the stream, and it depends on what.
Like Rusty was saying about earlier with black stuff like that. You gotta be careful of that shit.
Now, supernova is completely different to a black hole, isn't it? Supernova is like
basically, supernova is basically one giant star. It's a giant star explodes, which creates a supernova.
That would be so crazy to see with our own eyes. Holy cow! Witness.
I think there is one sort of nearby, but not too sure if it'll.
Yeah, I mean, like I think they've seen them with their telescopes, but to like witness it in the sky, like if like our sun supernovaed, like just all of a sudden see our sun from our perspective blow up would be so insane. Holy cow!
So that's the thing, you wouldn't have seen it because.
I don't think you would. It'd be a flash and instant. Yeah, you're right. It'd just be instant flash and nothing.
But then the Earth would be swallowed up anyway by the sun before it does explode.
That's
unless
crazy.
somehow in the future they know how to move the Earth.
Yeah, that's what they. Oh man, what do they call those? The Dyson spheres. There's a theory that advanced societies can move their planets or have created Earth-like or planet-like planets out of all synthetic materials and are now living in these synthetic planets.
Even created their own suns as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there could be suns inside these Dyson spheres. That's one of the theories too. Yeah, inside of it. That's so crazy. Build a structure around a sun. That's some like beyond God-like stuff, man. So crazy.
But then, in a couple million years, the Milky Way is going to collide with the Andromeda. So,
sure, that would be a crazy sight. Holy cow!
And that's gonna, when they hit, that's gonna throw a lot of shit. All planets going to desync and.
Yeah, it'll reset everything. It'll just a new galaxy will be formed out of that.
Yes.
And who knows what will come out of that? A bigger one.
Oh,
more
stars.
More
huge when it happens.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff to think about.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I'm going to end it here, yeah. And
Sweet.
we'll have a conversation on Thursday if you're both available.
Yeah.
Cool. Good chat, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Just coming on, Rusty. Nice to see you around. Hopefully see you again Thursday. Cheers coming on, Aaron.
No worries.
Decent conversation for once on here. You know, like need to do a few more. You know, because it doesn't have to be paranormal, as in like ghosts and spirits all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we basically didn't. We touched some on spirits, but it was basically just all sorts of stuff we talked about, and we barely scratched the surface.
I want to talk more about, you know, like next time if I think about it, I want to talk more about folk tales and, you know, like things such as like, you know, like the Mothman and Chupacabra, or whatever you fucking called it,
Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
Yeah, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, and like other kind of weird creatures that have been seen, you know, and people reckon that they've captured this stuff. You know, there's one video that I saw where I think it's in Spain, two guys are doing a video walking through this woods, and they capture this kind of like white humanoid figure leaning over, eating its prey, and it turned around, and like it was all pure white, and they ran away, you know, like.
Yeah, but you're saying that there was one recent just come out the other day actually where this person was in their car recording. I think it was a bison, and in this woods, you see it's like this weird white goblin sort of creature like walking around. No, like Gollum out of Lord of the Rings. It's
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was like. This one's in
like that.
it's actually in Spain. Two guys in Spain was walking through the forest, and they caught this like weird white, kind of like humanoid creature bending over, eating its catch or whatever. And as it turned around to see these two people videoing it, it kind of like let out a really weird scream, and its eyes like were really big and bulky and really crazy.
So that's
you
the
know?
problem with these type of videos. You do not know if they're CGI or not.
Yeah. So that's what I want to talk about. You know, I want to do a little bit more research and do some more videoing, checking out some more videos and see, you know, what new things have been seen, and I have a topic on that. You know, because we've hit like, you know, Earth and like space and shit like that tonight. You know,
frontier.
So maybe we can change the topic and change like something. Like
there's folklore. A lot. The Montauk, I think the Montauk monster, the weird.
Well, don't say that. Just wait till Thursday, then we.
There's a lot. Yeah.
All right, then. Good night, guys. I'll catch you later. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Have a good night. Thanks all. Have a good night, all.
Bye.
See ya.
Catch you later, Russ. Catch you later, man.
See you later.